Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
I love sports.
Sports. When
It comes to
Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men, we will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
Coach Elko's my guy, right? Like, I love him. I love Michael Early. Like, I think Bucky's going to be incredible.
It's football, man. And that's what Warriors do. They don't want to sit out.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
16 teams in the SEC. I saw this note.
Okay.
15 of them have a winning record. It's only been a few weeks of the season. I recognize that. 11 of those 16 are ranked. 9 are undefeated.
Yeah, it's a strong
SEC
conference.
Yeah.
That's what you would expect.
You remember, I think you do, back in July, I pontificated / almost predicted that I think there's going to be 2 9-3 teams in the SEC championship. I still feel good about that.
Okay.
Because it is, I think since I've been at TexAgs, and I watched SEC before I got to TexAgs, it probably is the most wide open that we've seen it.
Yeah. I think the fact that you have this many, undefeated teams actually makes it more difficult for that.
You're probably right because of a non-conference loss. Yeah. But between Alabama and Auburn, one of those teams is going to lose.
One of them is.
Right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be other games this
Probably
weekend.
Probably going to be Auburn.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel.
I mean, wait and see, obviously.
No,
and
but
neither team's been overwhelming. Auburn looks good, but I'm like, against who? Now they got a chance to prove something this week.
But you know how I am, right? Like I'll look at like Notre Dame. There was a part of me that said, I need them to destroy Miami. So when A&M goes to South Bend and beats them, it feels better. But then there's the part, but if they destroy Miami, maybe they're really good. And maybe A&M doesn't. Like, so I play this game in my head.
And again, my take is you got to play them anyway.
Yeah.
If they destroy Miami or not, you got to play them.
Yeah, but then I started doing the gymnastics in my head. Can we beat them? And the answer is yes. We can beat them all. And we can lose them all too.
With the exception of Samford, I would say, you don't take any game for granted.
Because I look at some of these teams. Let's just pick what was expected to be the easier games in the SEC.
Okay.
The 2 easier games in the SEC was supposed to be Arkansas and Mississippi State.
Okay.
They're both better than we thought so far. 3 weeks.
Arkansas is, even though they lost to Ole Miss with a backup quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Just run. No offense, Taylor Green's playing great, but just running all up and down the field on what was it, Arkansas Pine Bluff?
Yeah.
That means nothing to me, and putting up a big score on Arkansas State
means nothing to you.
Not much. It means a little bit more than Pine Bluff, but not much. So then you go play Ole Miss, and they score 35 points. So give them, that offense you're gonna have to deal with.
Yep.
But Ole Miss scored 41 with a backup quarterback. So I'm not sure what Arkansas is. Mississippi State, that was a heck of a win.
Taylor Green's game against them, 305 yards, a touchdown, and he rushed for 115 and a touchdown.
Yeah, but there's 2 parts of a team.
Yeah.
Well, what are they going to do on offense? Are they so?
But and I guess that's why I'm like,
I don't know what
is
Arkansas
Taylor Green
is.
a better quarterback than C.J. Carr?
Than C.J. Carr. I probably, based on what I've actually seen, I'd say better no, because C.J. Carr has played Miami and Texas A&M
and played well.
If you put in C.J. Carr against Pine Bluff and against Arkansas State, what numbers is he going to put up?
Yeah.
Maybe less because they don't have, surely less than Taylor because they don't have to depend on him as heavily.
Sure. Okay, I can give you that.
But I'm not saying Taylor's not really good. He's having he was good last year and he's having a
solid start.
But again, Pine Bluff. If you don't score 50 on Pine Bluff, there's a problem.
Yeah, but we would agree that Arkansas seems like a little bit more difficult challenge than we initially thought so far, or no?
Well, yeah, probably. But even then, even if they weren't, I would say to you, when are they not a challenge for A&M?
Yeah. Well, and now going there,
they lost to North Texas, and A&M had to get a late interception to beat them.
Sure. But going to Fayetteville is going to be difficult.
It's going to be a problem.
I think Auburn is better than we expected.
I think they are.
Okay.
They are. I still kind of scratch my head exactly what Auburn is. At
some point, they're going to throw to the receivers, right? Hopefully not against A&M. But at some point, they're going to realize, oh, we have two of the best receivers in college football. Let's probably pass them the ball. But they're probably better. So, and I think Mississippi State is absolute. They won 2 games last year. I had an insider on who didn't think they'd win more than 4 or 5 this year, right? So, and now we're looking at them as when they play A&M. Do you have Mississippi State's schedule? That they'd probably be ranked. Let's see. No, they're going to lose to Tennessee.
They're going to lose to Tennessee, probably.
And then they get A&M.
I mean, okay, I'm looking at that. That Arizona State win, I mean, that was impressive. Again, we don't know what Arizona State is. They were really good last year.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they got that win and the way they got it, they scored I thought it was over. Yeah. And they scored in the last minute. So respect them. They're in the SEC. The bad teams are good in the SEC.
But, okay, if they were supposed to have, if people were predicting 5 to 6 wins for them this year, they may be at 5 wins by the time they play A&M.
Well, they'll
put that schedule up again.
Be at 4.
They've got 3 right now.
Okay.
They've got another one in Northern. Okay, 4.
And then who are they going to beat?
They're probably going to lose to Tennessee. So they'll be 4-1 heading into the A&M game.
Yeah, and then who are they going to beat?
At Florida, who knows about Florida? Let's go against Texas. Yeah, the season may go off a cliff.
But
they're better.
I think didn't they actually represent themselves pretty well last year against Arizona State?
Yes, and against Texas, didn't they? At first half, I think it was close. Yeah. Maybe I'm making that up.
I said, and I would say right now, look, we've only completed the first lap of a 4-lap race.
Yeah.
So we'll find out who has stamina and who has a kick and all those things. But
okay, LSU. Are they better than we thought?
I don't know. I thought they'd be about what they were last year. They're really talking about how great the defense is, and it might be. But Clemson, all right, they shut down Clemson. But Clemson struggled with what, Troy?
Yeah.
They struggled to score on Troy, and then they struggled against Georgia Tech.
Mm-hmm.
So does that Clemson game mean LSU's defense is that great? When Troy and so now Troy and Georgia Tech must have one of the best defenses in the country. Okay. And then last week, all over Florida, but Florida had 16 points against South Florida.
Yeah.
Florida can they're explosive against Long Island. But they've scored 16 points and 10 points in their last 2 games.
But Florida, we would say, is not as good as we thought, but can beat you.
Yeah. Look, I always say this. Can they beat you? Absolutely. All I have to do is remind everybody about LSU winning the West, ranked, 5th or 6th in the country, and they come to Kyle Field to play a team that's won 4 games and just got punked. Everybody in the SEC has talent. Every game is a potential loss.
Missouri, so far better than you thought.
They are, but once again, I'd say Missouri
beat Kansas.
Right. It's a 4-point game with less than 2 minutes to go.
Yeah.
And I know Kansas isn't what Kansas used to be, right? We understand that.
But they're Kansas.
But how good are they? And so that's what we're measuring Missouri by, because the other games, one of them was is it Missouri schedule? Because Central Arkansas
and Louisiana.
And Louisiana is not what they have been. So, again, I don't know what Missouri is.
Okay. And I don't know what South Carolina is, but they seem to be playing about the way that I thought they would be playing.
Right. South Carolina is they're just a very average football team.
Yep.
With a good quarterback.
Their defense is not as good.
And I don't understand why anyone thought it would be.
People argued with him recently.
I know. People that are national media types say, hold on, keep an eye on that. I don't think that South Carolina defense is going to take the step back that you think. How can you lose what they lost and just expect the next guys to be as better?
And sometimes they are.
Sometimes, but it's not. Yeah, at Georgia and at Alabama in the day, and Ohio State and programs like that, usually the next guys are almost as good, if not as good, and sometimes even better than the last guys. But that's quite a what I'm trying to say. Well, anyway, you just don't see that happen at South Carolina as much.
Then Texas, even though nobody would bat an eye that they lost to Ohio State on the road, they don't seem, even though they're 2-1, as good as we expected.
Well, Arch doesn't seem as good as they expected. Their offense is not what was expected, but once again, they lost 4 starters in the offensive line. They lost some first-round draft choices at receiver. They had a tight end that was catching everything last year, and they lost their quarterback. And I think it was Steve Spurrier that said, well, if that Manning kid is so good, why didn't he start last year?
He was ridiculed for that.
So Texas defense is really good. But again, you have to, why was Texas just said that they would be the number 1 team and everybody's picking for the national championship and Arch was going to be the Heisman Trophy winner? Why were they saying that?
Well, I think the kind of the beauty, the irony, is that their first year in the SEC didn't seem more like a Big 12 schedule than it seemed like an SEC schedule. And I know it's the same schedule flipped with Ohio State. Now it feels like the SEC we were telling them about, maybe not to the extent of what the West was, but now Vanderbilt seems like a real player.
Yeah.
Okay. And Mississippi State, not necessarily a real player in that respect, but a harder matchup for them. Now they're realizing, oh, this is the SEC people told me about.
You know what? I still think they have as advantageous a schedule as you can get in the SEC. And it was obviously orchestrated. I've started calling him Dan Beebe, but why am I blanking on the SEC commissioner's
Greg Sankey?
Sankey. So I'm thinking Dan Beebe because Sankey's been. There was obviously that schedule doesn't just drop in by coincidence, especially when Oklahoma just gets a murderer's row, right? So, they got as advantageous as it can be. What they're going to find out is what the real SEC is probably next year.
Yeah. We'll see.
They never had to play as a conference game in a division with, all the best teams.
Heather Dinish, by the way, says the victory over Notre Dame catapulted Texas A&M all the way to the number 5 in my prediction on Saturday night of the committee's top 12. That puts them squarely in the conversation. It gives them a non-conference road win that will separate them from a lot of other contenders if they're fighting for an at-large bid, which they would be if they don't win the SEC.
Yeah, we talked about this, both of us, last week. If you beat Notre Dame, it just changes the way the entire nation looks at you.
It does. It does.
And it is.
Hey, this is TexAgs Live.
It is TexAgs Live.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
Gem of a guy.
We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason and Jackson and the boys.
This is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations.
Yes, it is, where you can get a shirt like this.
And typically, we're hanging out right there, except when Olin
forgets to bring his clothes today.
Yeah.
In fact, that's why I'm wearing a TexAgs
He showed
t-shirt.
up in a towel. That's it.
No, I didn't. I did show up in my workout gear, and I went into my bag to pull out the clothes I was going to wear. And I went, oh, my gosh, I forgot to. I'm not always thinking real clearly in the first half an hour of the morning.
Yeah. But you woke up at 2 a.m.
No, not this time.
Okay.
What I need to do is remember, and I typically do this, but I forgot, I usually put a pair of jeans in my truck and a shirt in the truck. So, but I usually do that before I go to bed at night, but I forgot to do it last night.
Speaking of-
So then, instead, I went and put on a TexAgs shirt that you can get at CC Creations.
CC Creations.
At the warehouse. Look how nice this shirt looks.
It's a great shirt. By the way, Holistic Planning, any new clients from TexAgs that sign up by November 27th will receive this offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns in Austin on November 28th, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year. By the way, you want to call, text the show. We did a little bit of that yesterday. You could do that on the...
I'm sorry, the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
Yeah, I was just making sure you're paying attention.
Wow, really wasn't.
979-693-1150. We go around the room, left to right. Behind the glass is our friend, our colleague, and our boss, Nick Savage.
Good morning, y'all.
What's up, bro?
I'm great. The only team, I guess, that gives me pause that y'all just talked about, that's getting a lot of, I guess, not hype, but recognition is Missouri. If you look at the FPI, ESPN puts out Missouri's above A&M. I've seen a few, AP ballots that rank Missouri above A&M, and it just that kind of confuses me a little, or not rank them, but near them. But again, they got the Kansas win. I get that, but weren't we all projecting them to kind of take a step back and, not replicate the success they had last year?
So I asked this question yesterday on the show, but I'll ask it differently. Who has the most impressive win in the SEC? Does Tennessee's win over Georgia, is that the most impressive win in the SEC?
Well, Georgia won.
Sorry, Georgia's win over Tennessee because it was on the road at Tennessee. Is A&M's win at Notre Dame the most impressive win?
Well, the most important one is Georgia's because it's a conference game. But I would just ask yourself this: if Tennessee and Notre Dame played, who would you pick?
If Tennessee and Notre Dame played, who would I pick? I don't know. Honestly,
okay.
I don't know.
Right. So, okay. That's why it's a valid question. Now, the answer is, if you say, I think Notre Dame would win, then you'd say A&M has the more impressive win.
Yeah.
Both were really close, one to overtime. In fact, Kirby Smart even said, we got lucky. He didn't put it that way, but he said, Tennessee deserved to win that game. But if you said Tennessee I'd pick Tennessee over Notre Dame, then you'd say that Georgia, that's the more impressive win.
I think I might take Tennessee.
Okay.
I might. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. McKinley Polanski.
Hi, how are y'all?
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. Feeling great after this weekend.
Yeah.
Feels good to win on the road.
It does.
Against a top 10 team.
Ranked opponent.
Yep, ranked opponent.
What do you have for us?
Yes, Texas A&M wide receiver Mario Craver was named the Associated Press National Player of the Week following a career-high game in the Aggies' 41-40 win at number 8 Notre Dame. Craver is the first Aggie in program history to earn the weekly accolade. Craver leads the nation with 443 receiving yards and is averaging 147.7 yards per game.
Pretty good.
100 yards or more of receiving yardage in 3 consecutive games. Hadn't happened here in a while.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a great bye week.
I know if I was him, I would.
McKinley?
Yeah. Let's talk about volleyball and the new.
You said that like a Valley girl. You had, yeah.
Oh.
There was a, yeah.
Well, she's a Brazos Valley girl.
Brazos Valley girl. In the new AVCA rankings, Texas A&M volleyball is staying in the top 15 and is ranked number 14. The Aggies are back at Reed this week and are hosting the Texas A&M Invitational, where on Thursday they will take on Southeastern Louisiana at 6 p.m. On Friday, they take on UNH at 6 p.m. And on Saturday, they take on LMU at 3 p.m. So head over to Reed and good luck volleyball.
Who is UNH?
University of New Hampshire.
Okay.
I just made that up. I'm assuming. You think that's right?
Yeah.
Okay.
UNH. They're big. They're big over there.
It's not that, no, it's Southern New Hampshire that they have the TV commercials.
Yeah,
Get your degree.
Oh,
It
yeah,
is
yeah.
New
It's
Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yeah.
I wonder what New Hampshire's called.
Like their mascot?
Yeah, New Hampshire. The New Hampshire Hamsters.
The Wildcats.
Oh, the
Wildcats. See, Nick
Okay.
knows.
Very
things.
creative.
Yeah.
That is Wildcats.
Yeah.
Hamster.
Nick, how quickly did you Google that?
I'm looking at our website.
Oh, okay.
We got all the information on texags.com,
Because you know what?
Everything you need
We
to
know stuff, except, I missed.
except what UNH is.
Yeah.
Except they,
Well, I think I guessed correctly, thank you.
but it could have been like Northern Hawaii.
You think Wildcats eat barbecue?
Oh, yeah. They love barbecue.
Do they really?
Yeah.
I don't think there's a big committee of.
Oh, you mean the actual animal?
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, they're carnivores.
Well, they are carnivores, so they would. Yes, a wildcat would eat barbecue.
I'm just trying to find a way to talk about
But you know what?
1775.
It would become a mild cat if it went to 1775. Because how can you be angry when you're at 1775?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, you bring that wildcat and put a plate of brisket.
That'd be really awkward. You're over there eating at 1775. You look to your left.
There's a wildcat.
There's a wildcat going to town
with
on
some
a dish.
brisket and some sausage.
It's probably really
turkey.
nice too, right?
Wouldn't you be?
Yes, I would.
And then you'd say, hey, wildcat, have some of this.
Mildcat, sorry.
Oh, yes, mildcat. Have some of this jalapeno cheese. Mac and cheese. This queso mac and cheese.
Yeah, I think the Wildcats have been labeled incorrectly. They're more mild now that I think about it.
Yeah, I mean, what's so wild about them?
By the way, 1775, I think is what we're talking about.
I'm wild about that 1775 barbecue cat.
Did you know that they're open Thursday through Saturday?
Thursday through Saturday.
11 a.m. until they're sold out?
Until they're sold out.
Look at that. But I ask you why. Actually, the number is 979-492-6241, 1775txbbq.com.
It's good, even for Wildcats.
Hey everyone, it's David and Olin from the Holistic Planning
Cool Zone.
You know, I like when we have the chairs here because I don't feel like I have to do this when we're talking about holistic planning, but they want you to know, TexAgs subscribers, they take care of the TexAgs subscribers.
Oh, absolutely. Take care of everybody.
They want to know that anybody who signs up by November 27, 2025 will receive this awesome offer. If the Aggies beat the Longhorns or win in Austin on November 28, 2025, clients will pay no management fees to Holistic Planning for the entire 2026 calendar year.
That's free.
It's free 99. Actually, just free.
All you got to do is beat Texas. Well, it's not if they beat Texas, it's when they beat Texas.
When. And when you go to holisticplanning.com, you're going to love Holistic Planning. So it is holisticplanning.com. Check out the website and take advantage of this awesome offer.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggie Land since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. Performance of the week. Easy peasy.
Well, it's easy because there's so many.
Yeah.
It's like reaching into, a grab bag. You know something's good, you're going to pull it out. So, of course, we're going to start with Mario Craver.
Okay, let's pull 207 yards receiving.
Yeah. How do you not start with that guy? What a game he had. That touchdown, the first touchdown.
Yep.
I think we were talking about yesterday. Reminded me of the Devon A-Chain touchdown run, even though it was a pass.
Here it is. Watch the spin. Ready?
Look at
Germ.
I'm not going. And then there's nice block by Terry Bussey behind him, by the way. Block doesn't have to knock somebody off their feet, just get in their way. And
yep.
I don't know if the kid from Notre Dame would have caught Craver anyway, but no point in making sure. 29.6 average per catch.
I think that's pretty good.
That is amazing. The kid's off to an All-American start. We'll see if he finishes it off. Who should be? A&M's going to have a Heisman Trophy candidate now.
Yeah.
Who should it be?
I think it should be two candidates right now. It should be two. Who's another name? Since we got a grab bag of things.
Well, Marcel Reed.
Marcel Reed deserves love.
He had a 300. I don't care what his completion percentage is. Some of those misses were bad throws. Some of them were throwing the ball away so he doesn't make a bad play.
You know what I like?
What?
The ones he did complete were pretty big.
Yeah. You got 360 yards. 360 yards passing. And by the way, you had a big 11-yard completion at the end of the game.
Yeah, the biggest. And so can we give Nate Borkacher a little love? Performance of the week. Catching blinded. Stevie Wonder catch. Let's go.
It was a wondrous catch, that's for sure. Nate Borkacher, I'm going to go out on a limb and say Nate Borkacher never has to buy a drink, maybe even a meal in the city of College Station again for life. What an amazing catch that was.
I think Le'Veon Moss deserves a little love.
3 touchdowns in one quarter?
Yeah.
And then how big was that 12-yard
That was the biggest.
run?
That actually probably was the turning point.
81 yards?
Yep.
I think we're about to start seeing, it was about the 4th game last year, maybe the 5th, but when he really started piling up numbers, and I think it's about to happen.
I agree.
There's so many others.
Can we give Albert Regis some love?
Absolutely. Albert Regis played great football. Last year, I always thought he was their most consistent defensive lineman. He made big tackles. He controlled the line of scrimmage. He had a big deflection that led to an interception. Here it is, by the way. Albert Regis just played great. And quite frankly, I don't know why they don't put Albert in, like if you need a 4th and 1.
Hey.
He's built perfect for that, refrigerator Perry. Young ones won't know who
they have no idea.
Perry
They didn't know hey or refrigerator Perry. Do you know either of those, McKinley?
No.
When I say hey, no?
It's Fat Albert.
Not that Albert's. Albert's ripped.
Yeah, he's not fat.
He's a machine. There was a show called Fat Albert.
Okay.
And what was that? It's early for me, man.
Hey, can you give me a little note on Albert Regis? I know you got one.
Yes, I do. Albert Regis earned SEC Defensive Lineman of the Week honors on Monday after his outstanding performance this past weekend in South Bend. Regis totaled a career high of 7 tackles. 5 of those were solo, which was also his career best. 4 of his 7 tackles were for a Notre Dame gain of 2 yards or less. And fun fact, it was the most tackles by an Aggie defensive tackle since McKinley Jackson had 12 against Ole Miss in 2022.
How about Sanford? Damian Sanford. Damian played
really good game.
Really good. I thought number 3 from San Diego State.
Marcus
what is
Ratcliffe.
going on with me this morning? Ratcliffe. I thought he played well.
He did.
You know what? How about Chase Basantes for making that great block on the last play?
Hey. Freeze frame it. I don't care.
I don't care.
We lost. We won. We've lost many times with stuff going against us. Sorry, deal with it. The whiniest bunch of fans.
Yeah, they are. Take your L, move on.
And that referee, go eat a bag of donuts, please.
Yeah, or anything else like.
Yeah. Anyway, Randy Bond.
Randy Bond's another guy.
I mean, I know he missed the 50-yarder, but he hit the ones that he had to hit. And the extra point. I'm sorry. I was very nervous on the extra point.
Yeah, and the thing is, I know I'm leaving somebody out. I know I'm not leaving because to win a game,
DJ Hicks had a great game. Casey Concepcion had a great game.
Yeah, a lot of DJ Hicks was excellent.
He was excellent.
I can only hope that that's the DJ Hicks we're going to get for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because if that's who DJ Hicks is going to be for the rest of the year, because I know what Albert Regis is going to be, then you had the Craig James on last with the best combination.
Yeah.
You're not if that's the DJ Hicks you're going to get all year then you're not going to find a better pair of defensive tackles anywhere.
Yep. I know that before we hit a break, we've got to get another performance of the week. Belansky.
Texas A&M's men's tennis's Ethan Silva won in straight sets to take home the red bracket singles crown at the Waco Fall Kickoff Classic at the Herd Tennis Center on Sunday. Silva faced Felipe Pagnaco from Texas Tech in the final, ultimately taking down his opponent 6-3, 6-3.
Did you practice Pagnaco? That was very good. I was very impressed with that.
I just read it over just before I said it.
Okay. Pagnaco. Is he Italian?
I don't know.
Okay.
Sounds like it.
The way I say it, I can make Olin Buchanan.
Make everything.
Yeah.
Italian. But hey, good job, Ethan Silva.
Yeah, way to go. All right, let's hit a break. When we come back.
He didn't have to settle for the silver medal. He got the gold.
Oh, that was good.
God, we are a bunch of dad jokes central here on TexAgs.
I'm a dad.
Hey, by the way, we'll hit a break. Damontre Moore going to join us.
Moore, the manster.
The manster will join us.
The monster, I mean. The monster.
Insurance decisions should not be made in 15 minutes or less. They should be, take time with it. Know your situation. Know your personal situation, whatever it may be, family, business, ranch, you name it. Start a relationship with someone who's going to know you. Rollo Insurance is the way to go. They build lasting relationships through education, helping you understand what you're buying and the why behind it, with expertise in everything from the home to the auto to business to specialty coverage. Their independent agents provide options tailored to your specific needs. They take time to explain the policy in plain language, making sure that you're never wondering about your coverage. This educational approach is going to empower you to make informed decisions, protecting your family, your home, and your business. Make sure you call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That is rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Hey friends, David Nuño here for Prize Picks. They're back on TexAgs, prizepicks.com/TexAgs. Use the code TexAgs to get $50 once you play in $5 lineups. And Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Football season's here, basketball coming up, baseball, you name it. You go to prizepicks.com/TexAgs and start having some fun watching sports, making some money on there. And you can play Prize Picks in over 40 states, including California and Texas. Remember, they'll give you $50 in lineups once you play $5 lineups on Prize Picks. And they have the new thing. It's called It's Good to Be Right campaign, and they're kicking off the upcoming NFL season with their bold new campaign, It's Good to Be Right. The seasonal long push celebrates the thrills of getting it right, from the perfect prediction to winning your Prize Picks lineups. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour, presented by The Warehouse at CC Creations. He's Olin, I'm David. And we go straight to the Bubby's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find Damontre Moore. What's up, Damontre?
Howdy, man. Thank y'all for having me. How are y'all doing?
Thank you. That looks like a very Houston Oilers, New York Yankees hat / stickers. What's going on with that hat?
It's, my boy Void Creation made it animated to Akashi, animated with Naruto. So yeah, so some good stuff there.
There you go. All right, so I want tell me about Saturday night. How was it? Where did you watch it? How did you take it in? What'd you think?
I had to watch it at the house. I was intense. I was locked in. I was yelling at the screen like I was right there on the sideline. My take was we got the dub. It was a good win. We've seen a lot of good things, and anytime you get a win against a top 10 team, what he said, it's all peaches and cream. But from that, within the tape, there was a lot of stuff that we can learn. We've seen that we have the capability of going out there on the national stage in somebody's house and, breaking their toys and stating our dominance. But also with that win, it kind of reminded me of the last 2 decades of A&M play. We always have these big wins, but it's how do we respond afterwards? I can't help but think of last year. We were coming off a big win, and then we came and lost to a South Carolina team. So I want to see how we're going to come off this bye week and how we respond.
Yeah, so tell me, as a player that's been in a situation with a big win like that, is it better to have a bye week to kind of reset, or would you rather just go right into playing the next game?
I think it's good to have a bye week. Anytime you can have a bye week and you can go in there and you can recover as a team bond, and then you get an extra week of prepping with the head coach like Mike Elko, who's detail-oriented. He's going to be sitting there trying to utilize that time to come up with the perfect strategy coming out of that bye week, which is a good thing for us. Our offense is humming. I think they need to polish up a few things, but I think we need to really work on the containment factor of it. And so I think that and special teams. So I think those are going to be the 2 big areas of concern that we need to address during that bye week. And you got an extra week to do it to get a leg up on the opponent.
Damontre, how important was this victory for a program trying to take that next step, proving that, yes, we can beat a top dog, we can beat a top dog on the road, just for the maturation of a team trying to get to the playoffs?
I think this was a tremendous win and important. You got to come in there. You got to have that one big win that lets everybody know, like, hey, we're here to dominate. And especially with a lot of people getting upset at the last week in the SEC, and you see a lot of the top dogs that came into the league, i.e. the guys down the road, they were the favorites coming out at the beginning of the season. For them to kind of have the lackluster performance that they have, I think this is that time where you could you take that lead in the race. Like, it's still a long race, a 400. We're only in the first 100 of the race, but now you start to get that separation, to get that cushion to where you could potentially cruise out to the end. So it was tremendous important.
Damontre, the folks up at Notre Dame and some other places are complaining that there was a holding call that wasn't called against Texas A&M on the last play. My question to you is, how rare is it for a holding call not to be called? Were you ever held but didn't get the flag? I just want to know what your take on it.
We get held all the time, and it's a part of the game. Like a coach, all the good coaches tell you, yeah, you might have missed one call at the end, but if it came down to that, I could show you 10 or 15 other plays that if you would have took care of those plays, you wouldn't have been in the position to be so cutthroat at the end and just banking on one single call. There are many areas in the game that you could address. You could address about the fact that one of our receivers had over 100+ yards and had a career record-setting day in the first half on you right there. And maybe if you would have toned that down and said, hey, only had 70 yards in the first half, maybe you possibly would have won. So there's other things you can nitpick about, but there was plenty of missed calls throughout that game.
Damontre, as a defensive player, how hard is it to defend a team that can beat you ground and pound? You know that Le'Veon can get his. And now the added element of 2 guys or several guys that can beat you vertically.
Man, it's tremendously hard, but when you play those teams like that, it's attention to detail that week. You're talking about every aspect of where you can be focused. So one day you might come in where you're focused on the run game. The next day you're worried on the pass game. And with those good coaches that I've been around, sometimes you just hope that they don't overthink themselves. And typically you see that with a lot of coaches. I don't think you're going to get that with Coach Elko, but with most coaches, they'll come in there and you go from your defensive play calling sheet turns into a defensive play calling book. And it's a funny saying they used to say back in the day, you know, you see a lot, you see a little, you see a little, you see a lot. When I say that, I mean, those good coaches, you have what you're fundamentally good at, and then you might add one or two exotic blitzes and make those adjustments along the way. So you just gotta stop thinking about the opponent so much and more so think about yourself and lock in on the technique.
Hey, Damontre, watching that game, I'm sure, again, you've talked about it, it was exciting. Anything remind you of any other games that you might have ever watched or been a part of?
Man, I can't help but think of my freshman year where we went through that gauntlet of playing Texas, really the Nebraska game, a 9-6 game, just being a nail biter and going down to the end. You needed some good things. My last year, unfortunately, when we played TUE and we lost in those final minutes and it came down to a penalty that Trent Hunter had to revive the drive and then losing in the last few minutes, like, thought I had that wrecking crew essence, that like it was a certain je ne sais quoi that was in the air where it was like, oh man, we're out here playing football and we're living up to the hype. I was talking to, on my podcast, The Players Lounge, with Nuño Scruggs and Barry Church, arguing all week about how we're about to go down there and take the luck from the Irish. And so it was one of them games to where you could say, hey, we're the big dogs now, and now we're top 10.
Kind of thought he might mention a certain night in Tuscaloosa, but okay, you know.
Yeah, we got it.
I mean, you had that, but hey,
you wanted to go deeper.
It is. I wanted to go back to what set the tone for me to. Right. Yes, Tuscaloosa was there, but that freshman year when we went through that gauntlet, like that was the nail biter that I was thinking of. So, I was fortunate to be a part of multiple nail biters.
Hey, so you got a podcast now?
Yes, sir. I'm podcasting. I'm a co-host of Players Lounge with the Dallas Cowboys. It's me, Nuño Scruggs, Barry Church, and Anthony Dorsett Jr. We do it every day, 5 days a week at 2 p.m. live.
Every day? Wow, look at that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I told you I'm trying to get it back into the mix, man. So I appreciate y'all for having me. I got to get these reps. Y'all prepared it, and a lot of my interviews that I did with y'all actually got noticed by Derek Eagleton. Shout out to him at the Cowboys. He said, man, you're doing tremendous work. We want you to come on here. Now, y'all help me get another job.
Well, that is awesome, man. Hey, thanks so much for joining us. We'll talk to you here soon, all right?
Yes, sir. Appreciate y'all for having me. Thanks and gig 'em.
Thank you. Gig 'em. Damontre Moore. Good stuff. Congratulations to him. Text him during the Cowboy game.
I wish he would have just played one more year at A&M.
He's listening right now.
I know.
He's like, yeah.
We wanted him.
Yeah, he should have stayed.
Just one more year.
Yeah, actually, I wouldn't mind 10 more years. I'm just saying.
Well, back then, you only got one more year, man. He would have made such.
Can you imagine him with NIL?
He probably would have made more money here than some of the players in the NFL.
All right, let's hit a break. Right now, if you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They are serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. What really sets them apart is over 9 CFPs, a CFA, a CPA, all on staff. These folks take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors. Integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. All right, guys, let's talk about some new partners. Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. They're Aggie owned and operated. They are an mobile IV hydration company that was founded back in 2024. I met with Sheldon and Danny over the last week, and they're awesome people. They really know what they're doing. They're proud to serve Bryan College Station with awesome services like IV hydration, Botox, and even some weight loss options. Whether you're looking for a quick boost of hydration or dehydration preventative, they can tailor an IV cocktail specific to your needs. and on a busy week. And I know some of you guys might be partying a little bit too much. If that's the case, an IV can be one of the easiest ways to ensure you're receiving all those necessary vitamins and minerals to make you feel better. Their overall mission is to bring a more personalized and accessible wellness option to the broader range of clientele here in the Bryan College Station and Brazos Valley area. To book an appointment or inquire about it, just call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. Again, it's Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. It's our friends at Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. You know, we did build the city on rock and roll, Obi. You knew that. Oh, you don't have your IFB on, do you?
I thought it was San Francisco that was built on rock and roll.
Oh, I don't know. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center, shall we? McKinley Polanski, text messages, YouTube chats, premium chats. Go.
Yes. Treyton Shiner said, "This is going to be the most interesting college season ever. With the portal, anything can happen. As the great Lee Trevino said, someone has to win these games, so it might as well be us. Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride."
Buckle up.
Buckle up. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Yes, it is.
Do me a favor. Give me a premium chat on TexAgs.com. I want to give some love to the people who pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ag Engineer 12 said, "Serious question. Could Mississippi State end up being the best team we face at home this year? For reference, they are competing with Auburn, UF, and SCAR."
I'm going to say no. Maybe the better offense.
I think Auburn's probably going to be the best team.
Outside of Texas?
Next.
You think Auburn would be?
Well, he said that they play here.
Yeah, gotcha. Sorry.
Now, look, I respect Mississippi State, and the fact that they beat Arizona State makes you have to respect them, but I still don't think that they're probably as good as Auburn, and probably not as good as if Florida and Mississippi State play. Despite all Florida's issues, I'd probably take Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Another text message is from Chris Ellis. Said, "Good morning, TexAgs. This year is different."
Hey, good morning, Chris Ellis.
I say it every year, it seems like, but I believe we will shock the world. Also, Craver and Reed need to be in the talks for Heisman. Gig 'em.
I know a guy that votes for the Heisman.
Hmm?
I know a guy who does his own Heisman panel.
I can tell you that one of those guys will be ranked high in my very high in my rankings this week. That we reveal tomorrow?
I think we do it tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah.
As high as possible.
Pretty
Potentially.
dang high.
Pretty dang high. Pretty high.
And I'm not even sure if he's the right guy. That's how great this season
God
has gotten off
forbid
to
we
a
talk
start.
about Marcel Reed being good. Oh my God. Blasphemy.
300. What?
Hey, I'm going to bring this up with Pate later. There are some people that, look, I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. I look at people's comments. Like, I just took somebody off our YouTube page because I looked at some of the comments that they've put in history. Some of them are a little vile, talking about anatomy. So they're gone, right? But I look at people's history, and I think there's a trend with a lot of people. Either you're very positive or very negative.
Well,
and it's okay to be in the middle sometimes.
I say it every week and every year that my Heisman rankings, they change every week.
As they should.
So, and I give more credence to what you do against good teams and the situation. You know, I've said before, I don't care if you go out and light up New Mexico.
Yep.
Which, by the way, means more than it used to.
Yeah.
But
apparently so.
But just because you have a great game or a bad game doesn't mean that's who you're going to be all year. And so, but after three games, you can absolutely say that Marcel Reed and Mario Craver should be at least in the discussion.
Look, this team is built in a way that I think it is sustainable. Now they have to sustain it.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Let's hope they get better on defense, and they will. Let's hope they get even better on offense, and they will. We always anticipated they'd score a lot of points.
There's going to be a lot better offenses that we saw, and a couple defenses that are going to be pretty salty as well. OB, thank you, buddy.
Yep.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, Josh Pate. Josh and I will have a chit-chat about college football and college football topics. That and more. It's TexAgs. Something tells me that Josh Pate watched Top Gun several times. That's just a guess. I'm assuming that. Let's see. Josh, did you watch Top Gun several times?
I mean, I've seen it multiple times. I'm not enough to where it's like Twister, where I could go back and forth with the dialogue of the entire film. But yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, okay. I figured. And Maverick, did you watch that one?
Sure. Oh, I loved it.
That was great.
Absolutely loved it.
Yeah. This is the way we start this show, by the way. Josh Pate is here, brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Huddle up. Tailgate season is here, and there's no better place to gear up than Academy Sports and Outdoors. Want a grill that says my barbecue is just as good as the smack talk? Well, we've got you a cooler that screams I hold 47 cans and keep my cool, even in overtime. We've got that too, and fan gear that says I score more style points than a football spinning, back flipping, funky chicken touchdown dance. Academy has it all at undefeatable prices because the fun can't lose. I should have probably read that before I did it, but I did it here on the show with you, Josh. What's up, man?
Yeah, you're a professional. You're a professional. So your life changed Saturday night for the better, I would assume in many to most ways. What was it like?
Honestly, it's weird because I remember how I felt in the Alabama win. Being there, I remember how I felt when AC Law hit the shot against the University of Texas. There was like this excitement, like craziness to me. The Notre Dame one was not crazy. It was more like, did I just see him make that touch? Like it's almost like my brain did not process what happened for several hours. It was more like disbelief because I had gotten used to like, we get this close, Alabama game, 2022, we got it. Bad throw or bad play call to Evan Stewart. And, I've had that scenario happen so many times that it took me a while to I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but it was more of like is this real? Is this a dream?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this because I was thinking specifically, I was thinking about you, I was thinking about Lucci, I was thinking about any of the A&M folks that made the trip up there, not just media, fans, but longer suffering Aggies. If you're 19 years old and you got to go, that's wonderful. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to someone who's 43 years old, children, wife, mortgages, responsibilities, consequences. I'm talking to them. They know pain. And so when they went up there, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about how it's so important to lose yourself in the moment. Because if you lose yourself in the moment, you're really not thinking about any of that. You're just thinking about, he just caught that touchdown, I'm going to go insane. But it's really hard to do if you're a Texas A&M fan, because the moment is made significant because of the context. And so you find yourself almost thinking in terms of a documentary. You almost find yourself thinking in terms of there's a narrator in your head and this catch just happened and that didn't happen for us in years past. And wow, think about the significance and what could this mean moving forward? And what does this mean for the trajectory of the program? How about just quiet the mechanism, clear the mechanism. An incredible thing just happened. I may never be in this stadium again in my life. This is unbelievable. We got the eyes of the college football world on us. Let's just celebrate. But I know that's hard to do. So I have found myself, the reason I mention this is I found myself before at events in big moments, and I find myself thinking like you just laid out, and I'm saying, hey, that's what the Sunday show's for. We'll worry about that on the drive home. Just kind of lose yourself in this moment for a second. And I've adopted that philosophy this year. That's why I mentioned it. So this was one of the first big weekends where something huge happened. Georgia Tech was like that as well, but Georgia Tech's a little bit different. And I was just wondering what the experience was for you guys that have followed that program for a long time to be there. Did it feel like you got lost in the magic of the moment, or was it like you just laid out?
Yeah, and I wish I would have gotten lost in the magic, right? It's weird. Like I was just like, it was just a lot of processing, which it's a football game. Like, and I've seen amazing moments before. I wish I would have been able to. I can't celebrate as a member of the media on the sidelines at Notre Dame, but I just wish there would have been a little bit of that, because I feel like when A&M won against Alabama and against LSU a few years back, like when the fans rushed the field, I felt like I wasn't celebrating per se, but I was able to really feel that. But you know what I feel is the gravity of what this means for this program moving forward. And I just think it's, as Coach Elko will say, they haven't done anything yet, but it is a step in the process, and a process that seems to be trending in that right direction, because you look now, he's beat, 3 top 10 teams since he's been at A&M?
Yeah, I found myself at Neyland Saturday. and I'm watching Heupel try and get over the Georgia hump. Elko's the same way. He and his program are trying to get over the hump of they cannot do this, cannot do this. Now, you and I have talked a dozen times about the difference between cannot and have not, and I was always a have not guy. Just because you haven't doesn't mean you can't. So, okay, A&M goes and gets their big win, their signature win, their program-defining win, whatever you want to call it. I wouldn't disagree with any of that. So then that was later in the night. Well, earlier in the day, I had been over at Neyland watching Georgia and Tennessee, and it's two sides of the same coin. Elko is capable of winning a championship at Texas A&M. Josh Heupel is capable of that at Tennessee. They were both facing these hurdles that either they or their program or both haven't been able to clear. And earlier in the day, I'm sitting there watching Heupel in Tennessee do everything it takes to beat Georgia. I mean, everything it takes, up to the point where they're quite literally lined up for a game-winning field goal, and they miss it. And because the trajectory of a ball off a kid's toe was not correct, and they go on to lose in overtime, it is an entire dynamics shift on the conversation amongst some around that program. And I watched that happen, and I walk away thinking, yeah, Heupel's the same guy I thought he was when I got to the building today. Just like if that Notre Dame, if Buckner holds the ball and Notre Dame hits the kick and A&M ties it and they go in overtime and they lose to Notre Dame, Elko's the same guy. That's the same team. Their record's different. But think about the difference in the conversation. Think about what it takes to convince some people, not just outsiders, David. Think about what it takes to convince some people that something is possible. It's such a result-oriented world. As much as Elko, rightly so, talks about being process-oriented. That's the way I choose to think as well. That's why a lot of the public and popular narratives don't really make a whole lot of sense to me. Most people don't think that way. And believe it or not, some of your players may not think that way. Some of your donors may not think that way. So it is really critically important, above and beyond just getting the win because it's a win and it moves you to 3-0. It's so important to get those results every now and then. I guarantee you Mike Elko didn't need that result to prove to himself anything about himself. But he sure needed it to put on a platter and put in front of people and say, all right, you asked for it. Well, there it is. Now you see that it's possible. Now will you follow me? Now do you believe me?
Hey, we have a texter on the YouTube page that for 2 weeks has asked me to ask you this. I'm going to ask you. He thinks it's about time. His name is Rancho Texan. He says it's about time for Pate to rename Pate State to Pate A&M. So I'm just saying, if at some point, if the Aggies make it to the playoffs and have this deep run, just a thought process behind, maybe you could consider it.
This is me considering it. I mean, we have October, we have November. Yeah. So I'll tell you what, I want you hit him back and you tell him, I'll think about it.
Okay. Hey, I promise this will be the last time I brought it up because I'm petty, dude. I don't know why I care, but I care about certain things.
I love this about you. I don't even know where we're going, and I love this about you.
I think, most comments, I just kind of ignore. Every once in a while, I stick to a comment, and I do research on the person, and I'm a petty person. And a particular person on the thread, on the game day thread on Saturday, was laughing at my question to you last week, which was, when is Marcel going to get on the national stage? Okay? And basically, this was in the middle of the first quarter when things didn't look great. It's a long game, by the way. I don't know if he knew that. 3.5, 4 hour game. But things weren't looking great. A&M had the punt blocked. Notre Dame was driving. Okay, cool. And he goes, Marcel's regressed. I will take regressed and that performance 10 times out of 10 if you're going to do that against that secondary and that defense. And I'm just bringing it up because I'm not saying Marcel is going to win the Heisman. I think for right now, it feels like he should be in the conversation today, right? But we got a long way to go. I recognize that. But it's okay to enjoy moments. Regardless of when they come, you're allowed to enjoy and ask questions based on what we've seen so far. You don't have to predict failure all the time.
Well, you know that you and I are singing from the same hymnal on this, so I don't have a whole lot of pushback. I do find it interesting that some of the same people who criticize AP poll voters for not coming off their default positions once there's actual evidence in front of them are the same people who refuse to come off their preconceived notions about quarterbacks or players in lieu of actual information being in front of you. So if you didn't know anything about Marcel Reed coming into this year, let's say he was a true freshman and he was starting for A&M. There are people who would be in love with him right now based on this year's body of work that are still sort of out on him. And conversely, those same people are probably giving Arch Manning every single benefit of the doubt and DJ Lagway every single benefit of the doubt. And let's hold on now. Let's wait and see. We know how talented they are. No, you think you know how talented they are because you made some list. I'm not making fun of the list. I do them as well. But, my follow-up philosophy on that is I just do those to pass the time in the spring and summer. Once we get actual results on the field, you better be ready to pivot. As I told you last week, and I will repeat this until the end of time, 4 quarters of football, 1 quarter of football is worth more than 6 months of talking. But there are people who talk for 6 months who need to see game after game after game after game of results before they ever even begin to pivot off of their June and July and August assumptions. So I agree with you. In fact, you and I are talking. It's Tuesday morning. I'm going to re-rack my quarterback rankings on the show tonight. And it's going to look so radically different. I had Lagway as the number 1 quarterback in the SEC coming into this year. So I don't know if anyone's watched Florida lately. That has not come to pass. So what would people have said if you and I did this segment, let's say second week fall camp, and you and I boldly said, you know who's going to be a lot better than Lagway or Lenore Sellers, and that's Marcel Reed. They would have laughed at us, and yet we would have been right. Mm-hmm. So that just goes to show you there are no dumb predictions in college football because dumb stuff, unpredictable stuff happens every year. And so you need to just sit there and file it away when it comes to prediction markets. And then when it comes time to actually watch the games and react accordingly. It's not the craziest concept.
By the way, he missed some throws in that game. We all know that, right? It could have been better numbers, and he got away with a couple throws he didn't. But again, when you make game-winning plays, and he's done that against USC. The defense let him down. He did that against Auburn. The defense let him down. It shouldn't be held against you what the defense did. Right. So that brings up my next question. How concerned should A&M be about their defense?
Well, moderately, I would say. I think that I have watched I've watched a lot of the good teams in person so far. On TV, I've seen every one of them. And I haven't seen anywhere close to a flawless team. I mean, Georgia got a big win the other day. Their secondary got victimized by Josh Heupel in Tennessee. We've seen what happened to Bama. LSU, they can't move the ball right now, and they've got a little injury concern at quarterback. I'm just trying to run down the list. I mean, a lot like Ohio State, you're not really going to see them pushed for a little while. But point being, I mean, Oregon's going to go to Penn State. We're going to get to see them. Everyone's got issues. It goes back to what you just talked about. Which issue are you more comfortable dealing with? Would you rather A&M be like Florida and have a dominant defense right now, having allowed 2 touchdowns offensively in 3 games and yet be 1-2 because they can't get out of their own way offensively? Or would you rather watch the offense shine and say to yourself, all right, our fate rests on Mike Elko being able to elevate the defensive product to a good enough level? Because that's Georgia too. Like Georgia goes into Neyland the other day. You think of Georgia football, you think, we scored 24, that's going to be good enough to win. Well, it wasn't the other day. They needed to score into the 40s to win. They did. So I could walk away from there saying, oh, they won, but yeah, man, that defense is going to cost them. Or I could say, hey, it's week 3 going into week 4. I just got my biggest question about Georgia football answered. That was quarterback. So if I've got that question answered, you're telling me the biggest lingering question I have to stomach is whether Kirby Smart can get a good enough defensive product on the field? I'll take that with Georgia. So it's the same with Texas A&M. I'll take that with Texas A&M. They may go lose 3 games, they may go undefeated, whatever. If I'm going to have a hole in every potential profile of a team out there, there are some I'm more comfortable with than others. I'm comfortable with defense being what the season hinges on with Texas A&M.
I love that take, by the way. That's fantastic. So let's talk Tennessee for a minute, because if they weren't in the SEC, if they weren't a team potentially competing with A&M for a playoff spot, I would think they're one of my favorite teams to watch, because Josh Heupel every year, he puts these ingredients in his pot and he figures out a team. And I know they lost to Georgia, and it was a heartbreaking loss. They are so much better than I expected them to be.
I could not agree with you more. I am stunned by how this is possible. It shouldn't be possible, really. I tweeted that out when they had 21 on the board early second quarter against Georgia. Think about, I wouldn't blame them if their program was wrecked this year. I wouldn't blame them. The stuff that happened with your projected starting quarterback at the end of spring practice is such that the best offensive mind in the world should not really be able to compete in this league. And you should have to be bubble gumming and paper clipping your way to wins. They should be having to win the way South Carolina has, with complementary defense, good special teams breaks, turnover margin plus. That should be Tennessee's best hope. And instead, they just go grab a guy from UCLA by way of App State who was very turnover prone last year, plug him into the system, and it's good to go. But I will tell you this, and I could say there's a lot of correlation between Tennessee and Texas A&M right now. Look at the receivers they've gotten out of the portal, and look at how much better they are at that position and how much it elevates their play week in and week out. That's there. And also just the level of physicality they play with, which Tennessee doesn't get credit for, but they should. Because yet again, I'm sitting there watching them, and it's Georgia and them, and no one's given an inch. Through 4 quarters into overtime, Georgia wins the game. It's not because they made them tap out. It's not because Tennessee folded. It's because, the kick went their way instead of our way this time around. So I couldn't be higher on Tennessee relative to what my expectations were. And it was one of those situations, David, where someone loses a game, yet their performance level is so above and beyond what you expected from them in the preseason that you find yourself coming out of the building they just lost, and you're saying, dude, I'm way higher on Tennessee than I was 3 weeks ago. And good for Georgia, but man, good for Tennessee too.
And I'm really high on Tennessee, and as I'm saying that, I'm realizing the other team in Tennessee that I'm really high on, and how can you not be, is what Vanderbilt's doing. It's quite shocking, honestly. Like, I thought they'd be okay. I didn't think they'd be this, and we'll find out how good South Carolina is long term. But just the brand of football that they're playing on both sides of the ball has been very impressive, Josh.
It's the most impressive story to me in the country, because now they're on everyone's radar. This is supposed to be the year that, they did all their talking last year. They snuck up on everyone last year. And not only have they come into this year and won every game, David, they haven't been close. They blew Virginia Tech out on the road. They ran it up on South Carolina. Both of those games were on the road. So they've got a tough schedule. Pretty much everyone in the league does. But, man, it's no longer you get to play Vanderbilt. It is you got to play Vanderbilt. And that's not been the case my entire lifetime in this league. And if it was, the follow-up conversation was, all right, how long is James Franklin really going to be there? I mean, certainly he's going to move on. No one's talking like that with Clark. It's like Kenny Dillingham at Arizona State. It's this really unique confluence of events where a stepping stone program just so happens to have found the right guy, and the right guy has a very unique attachment to that university that is such that he may not be looking to leave. The door's wide open because they're incapable of closing it because they're Vanderbilt or because they're Arizona State. But the guy's saying, I don't really care if the door's open. I'm good here for a little while.
Hey, Michael on the YouTube page wants me to ask you, I think you did a video on this recently, so if you did, maybe you can paraphrase a little bit, but on the AP poll, get your thoughts on that.
My thoughts couldn't be lower. My thoughts are on the ground right now. So I never paid much attention to rankings before this year. I mean, I'm not kidding. I would come into the office and I'd be putting the show together. I would have to ask Jesse, wait, what is so-and-so ranked? Because I never looked. I didn't care. And I started paying attention this year because I noticed other people cared. And I really found out why I didn't care. Because I'm looking at, it's so void of logic. Like, I've always done power ratings, which is not merit-based. So you're not doing it the way an AP voter should or even a playoff committee member should. But when I'm looking at a team like Georgia Tech or Vandy, the only separator between them and top 10 teams is it feels like the teams in the top 10 were sort of invited to the party in the preseason. Texas, for example, is in the top 10 right now. It's not remotely close to a top 10 resume. And if I put a different helmet sticker on that resume, they're either in the 20s or unranked in all likelihood. Conversely, I got Vandy with 2 blowout wins on the road, one of them against the top 15 team. And so that's good enough for 18th or something like that. Georgia Tech, goes on the road, -3 turnovers in the first quarter and still beats Colorado. Come home, beat Clemson. They're not even top 15. And you know good and well, if I put Alabama or Penn State or Ohio State's sticker on that resume, slam dunk #1 team in the country. So I could not think less of the AP. They fully digitized that thing, and it's not even worth the web pages it's printed on. And that's free.
Josh, I'm keeping you too long. Let me just ask you just a tiny question. What do you think about all the complaining about the non-penalty call, the holding at the end of the A&M Notre Dame game, and then Terry McCauley on Twitter and this and that? Like, you know, A&M fans have done a good job of showing, well, here's a hold here, here's a hold here. That wasn't called. Like, I mean, a football game, right, comes down to, yes, that they missed it. I recognize that. But it's a series of misses and also a series of plays that determine the end result.
Yeah, what happens in football is the calls in the fourth quarter are remembered a whole lot more than calls earlier in the game. I don't think there's ever been a football game in history that if I needed to find anecdotal evidence that I got cheated, I couldn't find it. I will find it. Here's the difference. No one ever complains they got cheated in a 38-20 loss. It's the close game, which takes me back to what my dad used to always preach to me. Now, he was talking about Little League Baseball in this case, but it applies across the spectrum of sports. If you leave a game in the hands of officials, just assume they'll break your heart every time. It's your job not to leave it in their hands. Now, if you do, you may still win. Maybe you'll even get a lucky break. But I can promise you, not just that last game, but throughout the last 5 years, you telling me A&M can't prove they were on the short end of some calls? Like, I wasn't really interested in hearing the nation chastise A&M. Oh, you got lucky. Because I'm like, really? Well, let me welcome you to Aggie football, buddy. Sit down for a second. I have a slideshow that I want to show you. Yeah, I wasn't really interested in that.
Hey, man, I appreciate you as always. Sorry for keeping you long. Thanks, man.
I appreciate it, David.
Later, buddy. Josh Pate there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. I had to ask him that, right? That's fantastic. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back, open segment, and we'll just keep trucking along here. When it comes to preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy, it's not about capturing pretty pictures or putting it on Facebook memories. It's about having the not only the memory of your family ranch, your family business, but it's about that being for the next generation and the generation after that. And that's what Heritage Films has done such a great job of doing. Chance McClain and his team, what they basically do is they're going to tell your story and they're going to get to the root of it. We did one with my father 3 years back. He is 95 years old. You know, he's still trucking along, but 3 years ago, we did this thing, and we watched it all together. It was a very powerful moment to have my dad's memory clear about the street he grew up on, his friends, how he met my mom, how he escaped Cuba. Everybody's got their own story. Your dad's got a story that needs to be told, your grandfather, your family business, your family ranch. And I'm going to tell you before it's too late, you better get it done. It is an amazing thing. Check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com. yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It is Heritage Films. All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas. More than an outdoor lifestyle brand, its products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas Maroon and Gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Hey, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family. think wearing sunglasses at night is stupid. TexAgs Live, we're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. Got a caller to get to here in a second and a couple of messages. We go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. We got a premium chat that you wanted to read.
Yes. Ag Engineer 12 said, David, I know Vandy ended up stomping Scar, but shouldn't we put a asterisk next to that win given Sellers was knocked out towards the end of the first half? Scar's offense essentially became non-functional once they had to put Luke Doughty in.
Luke Doughty. All right, here, a couple things. Let me know when they put an asterisk by A&M's last few seasons. Right, when they do that, then I'll consider it. So how many times did A&M lose their starting quarterback? Like every year? Yeah. So when they start giving away asterisks for what happened to A&M, I'll be fine with that. The other thing I'll say is I didn't really watch much of that game, watch parts of it. So I know that Luke Doughty is not Lenore Sellers. I do know that. But this was a sound beating on both ends. And if you actually look at, again, I didn't watch much of what Luke Doughty did. His numbers, 18 of 27, 148 yards, and a pick. He also rushed for 20 yards. If you're wanting to compare that to what Vanderbilt did, Diego Pavia was 18 of 25, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. So no, I would say that, it would have been a lot tighter game. I agree with that. But I think there's a problem in South Carolina. Their defense is not very good. And with their offense been able to move the ball, just again, if we didn't have a comparable with the Virginia Tech game, the way South Carolina got by that Virginia Tech game and the way the way Vanderbilt destroyed them, then I would agree with you. But because they don't give out asterisks for injuries to quarterback, because of that, it's an interesting topic, sure. Does the game go differently? We've been saying it about A&M forever. What team would survive always being on their backup quarterback? And I'd be interested what happens if other quarterbacks in the league were to be knocked out. So, and I don't wish it on anybody because it is hard to overcome. So while I understand your point, no, because they didn't give us any, so I'm not going to give anybody else. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Randy is on the line wanting to talk about Coach Elko. Randy, welcome to TexAgs.
Hey, how's it going, David?
It's going well. Thank you for calling.
Hey, I'm just glad the way Elko coaches the team hard, in your face style, and doesn't sugarcoat anything. Holds them accountable, unlike other coaches that seem to be babying their players and not, you know what I mean, just not holding them accountable, making excuses for them. I like the way Elko coaches hard and then loves on the players because they know that he just got the best interest at heart for them.
Randy, that's a good thought. And I'll say this to that. It's an interesting kind of position to be because with the transfer portal, you've got to be careful with tough love and also love, right? There's a balance to it. And I believe what the players love about Coach Elko is he's genuine. You know where he stands. There's no fluff. And I think they buy into that. And then you throw in the success that he's having. I think that goes a long way. Good thought there, Randy. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right, no problem. Have a good one, David.
You too. That's Randy and her. I just said Randy. Not that the folks at Brian Broadcasting should know, but I know Randy. Randy and her. All right, we'll hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, what are we doing? We're talking KBTX, are we not? Yeah, Erin Patterson will be in studio. Have not had her on the show. Tyler Shaw just had a baby. Congratulations to Tyler and his family. So we'll talk to Erin, get to know her thoughts on the A&M season so far and her transition from, if I remember correctly, I was looking at her bio. She went to Alabama. So we'll see how she thinks about Aggieland. Right now we're talking about some new partners, Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. If you've gone to concerts, especially outdoor concerts all day, those kind of things that I wouldn't say I wouldn't go to. I'd be in and out real quick, like going to the grocery shopping. In, get my thing, get out, right? Concerts, the songs I want to listen to, get out before the crowd. That being said, you know how it can be draining on you, right? It can just being outdoors all day, or if you have a lot of events, some sporting events, you need a quick boost. Well, they'll take care of you there at Aggieland Hydration because they've got a quick boost of hydration or a dehydration preventative. And they can also tailor any IV cocktail specific to your needs. Sheldon and Danny are doing a wonderful job bringing this to the Bryan College Station area. And here's the thing. They're a mobile IV hydration company that was founded just a couple years back. and they'll come to you. They're amazing. And if you want to book an appointment or inquire about their services before an event, you can call them up or text them. 979-217-1561. That's 979-217-1561. It is Aggieland Hydration and Injectables. Check them out. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 2 of the program. Erin Patterson from KBTX joining us. New to the area. How long you been here, Erin?
A little over a month.
Okay.
Yeah.
How's the transition been?
It's not been too bad. I'm familiar with the SEC culture and all of that stuff. Getting used to the humidity again is something that's been a little bit of a struggle, but it's been good.
So you're an Alabama graduate, right?
Yes, I am.
And so what years were you there?
I was there from 2018 to 2022.
Okay, so you saw 2021 at Kyle Field, so I just wanted to remind you. I know
I also saw the national championship the year before that.
Yeah,
so,
but there's an asterisk. I don't know if you know that, McKinley, because of Nick Saban. He's no longer there. We took him away. Anyway, talk to me about what you were doing before College Station, some of the stops in your TV world.
Yeah, so obviously I was at Alabama, and then I went and I got my master's at ASU. So I traveled to Arizona. I was in Phoenix for a year and then got my first job out of college in Tucson. I was doing the same thing I'm doing here.
Yep.
And I was in Tucson 2 years and then bounced my way here. And then I'm originally from New York, so I've really just been all over the place.
You've been all over the place. So you were there to cover a little Kenny Dillingham's growth. How was that?
So I actually didn't see too much of ASU football. The way I was at Walter Cronkite School, and so the way their master's program works, it's a year-long program, and you can choose to do the third semester, which is their bureau, in either the summer or the fall. And so I did mine in the summer because I already had the job lined up in Tucson. So I saw the tail end of baseball, a little bit of WNBA, and then I think my last week there was the first week they were holding press conferences for football. So I did see one press conference with Kenny Dillingham. Yeah. He's a really great guy. Just from that one 30-minute, you could tell that he was a really good guy. And then when I was in Tucson, I mean, I obviously spent a lot of time doing basketball stuff.
I can imagine,
with the U of A. So that was my stint there.
Okay.
Tommy Lloyd is also a really good dude, too.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's it been like covering A&M? I know it's on a little bit over a month, but like, does it feel like SEC country to you since you know what Alabama feels like? How's the transition from that perspective?
Yeah, I mean, I always said when I was in Tucson, anyone that would ask me, oh, what are your next steps? What are the next goals? And I said I would like to stay in a college town because I always liked that environment, but I do want to get back to the SEC. And I definitely could tell within even just my first week at KBTX, I'm like, oh, it feels like, it was kind of like a breath of fresh air. I'm like, it feels like home.
So what's A&M like for you? Like covering them as a program, what you've seen from them so far, what has stood out?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely a big part of it is there's such a different culture at A&M in comparison to some of the SEC schools, as we know. I mean, they have the yell leaders and they have this and they have that. So I think that was something to definitely get used to. I'd been to a game at Kyle Field once before in, I think, my first year in Tucson. So around 2022, 2023, Bama came here and my parents got tickets and I took the weekend off. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go watch. So I had gotten a little bit of a taste of that culture. And then my college roommate is originally from here.
Okay.
So she knew about it and she would tell me about it and I would hear stuff from her family, but you don't actually get it until you see it.
Sure.
And even though I saw it at Kyle Field, having it be, you know, on the field at the game for Utah State, UTSA, I'm like, wow, this is really something. Mm-hmm. So I think that's definitely been the biggest point culturally wise, seeing it. And then from the actual team, I think a lot of people sleep on A&M from what I've seen so far. And I think they actually have a really good team, and I think they have the ability to it. I think Travis said it best after Notre Dame, was that they have the talent and it's there. It's just a matter of fact if they can put it out on the field.
Yeah, and I think since you haven't been here, you haven't felt the pain. But the pain involves that there's been a feeling that this team has been that the last few years, and then something happens. A quarterback gets injured, your best running back gets injured, something happens. But I think that the victory over Notre Dame signifies a change in the way people are perceiving A&M. Do you see that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to your point of the pain of a player getting hurt, I mean, I have not felt that pain from an A&M standpoint. However, I think that's just one of those things where that's college sports in general.
Yeah.
You know, and that's sports in general for that matter. It's, you know, being a Detroit Lions fan or something. I'm a Giants fan. I watched that heartbreaker yesterday. You know, it's just one of those things where there's so many things out of your control that you can't do, and you just have to figure out how to roll with the punches. But I think against Notre Dame, it's not necessarily that they had many punches to roll through. I mean, obviously seeing Bryce Anderson go down, that's not something that you want to see. There was a little bit of scare with Marcel Reed on that targeting call. You know, there's things like that where instead of letting that, I mean, Bryce Anderson happened right before halftime. So that's one of those things where you can go into the locker room and you can completely shift focus and say, oh my God, Bryce Anderson just went down. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? But instead they took it and went in stride. Marcel Reed said it in the postgame press conference. We knew that we wanted to go out there and win that game for them, and they did.
Yeah.
And so I think that standpoint and having that confidence is something that definitely could make them go out further in the season.
As an Alabama alum and a fan, you've seen some great wide receivers. What do you think about the group that they have here?
I mean, I think they have a very, very good wide receiving group. That's one of those things where, you know, you heard it, the key word that you heard in the offseason and leading up, it was that explosive offense. It was all of that stuff. I think a major part of why that word was tossed around was because of the wide receiving room.
Yep.
Casey Concepcion, Mario Craver, Ashton Bethel-Wormel. I mean, there's just no shortage of guys to throw in. And I think when you have a guy at quarterback like Marcel Reed, where they're trying to dub him as this dual threat quarterback, having wide receivers like that is just as important, because you can have a dual threat quarterback. You can have a guy that can throw it downfield, but if he doesn't have a wide receiving group to throw it to, then you don't really have a topic of conversation anymore.
What do you think about Ty Simpson?
I mean, I like him.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I think that, yeah. I mean, I don't really have like a whole lot on him.
Okay.
I do like him. I think it's just time to see him do some more.
Yeah.
My dad, it's funny, right before the season started, my dad had asked me, he's like, what do you think of him so far? I mean, you're in the sports world, you're looking at more stuff, all of that. I said, you know what? I saw the one game last year against USF. I would like to see him do more, please. I'm still waiting.
You're still, the last couple of weeks he's been pretty efficient, though.
Yes, he has been, but it's also one of those things where I think so many people pre-season were saying, this is a guy who's paid his dues. You know, he could have easily, in this day and age with transfer portal and NIL, he could have easily left. And he didn't. And he stayed there and he waited for his turn, and now it's his turn.
And you're waiting.
I'm waiting.
Yeah. This Auburn matchup, we got to wait a little bit. We got the bye week, obviously. But what do you think about Auburn, what you've seen so far?
I think Auburn is one of those teams that always kind of falls middle of the pack in the SEC. And not that they don't have respect on their name, because they do, unfortunately. But I think Auburn is definitely one of those teams that they're kind of an enigma, where they can come out and they can have a lights out game.
Sure.
Or they can come out and not do so hot. And I think going up against a team like that can kind of make it a little hard to prepare, because you have, list of A, B, and C, all of these guys who are really, really good. But then, you get in the game and it's like, okay, well, these guys aren't really that good. So then what are we going to do? So I think A&M is going to have to kind of prepare for all aspects of the game, because you really never know what you're going to get with a team like Auburn.
Yeah. Look, I'm intrigued by them, because I think if Jackson Arnold figures it out, they're going to be pretty good. I just don't know if he's figured it out, because all he's doing is running. So
yeah.
there's that. We'll find out a lot this weekend. Erin, great job. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate that. We'll hit a break here. We'll come back. We'll get to your text messages. 10 o'clock hour, we're going to have Jamie McCoy. We'll have Jordan Pugh. We'll have Coach G to talk a little soccer. All that and more. It's TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. I wish I had Olin here for it, because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar, I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going, you use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart?
packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. Why are the catchiest tunes the worst songs? The song sucks, but like it's catchy.
I just turned the volume up.
Oh, you don't know it? I know Nick is a big fan.
I don't know.
Look,
I
it's
don't
okay.
think
You
that
can tell
song
the
was good.
people. I know that you love that song. I know you're.
But
a big,
that is a good point. There are a lot of catchy songs that really do suck.
like commercials, right? Oftentimes,
Like Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny doesn't do commercials. He's a commercial artist.
I'm just trying to
Stir
trigger
the pot.
you. Yeah.
But like some of the catchiest tunes are just like bad. Like that's not a good song. I get knocked down, but I get up again. I like the thought behind it.
Do your daughters? I hope they don't. They shouldn't. Do they listen to Sabrina Carpenter?
Oh God.
Probably a little bit.
Yeah, okay,
Probably.
yeah.
At least Isla. I don't know about Annalise.
Like her songs are catchy.
I can't even tell you one
good.
song she sings.
They are catchy.
You're a Sabrina fan.
I am.
Is she
But
a
I
Disney
think-
person or who is she? I don't really
No.
know.
I think she started
Yes.
as like an actor.
Yeah, she started as an actor. She
Actress.
attracts younger girls, but she shouldn't. Like her songs, like the younger girls like her songs, but they like go into the concert. I've heard like bad, like parents are upset, like because she's kind of more for the older
She's dirty.
crowd. She's more
That's
mature.
what she's getting
yeah.
at. She's dirty.
But
Oh.
like
So
it's
that's
a
why I
big-
said I don't think your daughters are.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I've heard the name.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Sorry. They're
They're grounded. They'll never leave the house again.
no, her
Mr.
songs are
Nuño's coming
great.
home and he's taking phones and throwing them in the trash.
So I did this thing. Part of the reason that Spanish music was so big in my house for my children was because they didn't know what the guys were saying. So it was great. Like, you can't put on radio today and not have a bad message. But I get knocked down, but I get up again. I think the message behind the song is fantastic. It's a very David Goggins mindset. The rest of it sucks.
Yeah.
We just wasted 2
I don't
minutes.
think David Goggins is listening to that on his 100,000-mile runs.
Do you know what David Goggins will listen to if he listens to music?
Probably rap, I would guess. Hip hop.
Nope.
What?
He doesn't listen 97% of the time. When he broke the record for the most pull-ups in a day, which he's, I think, twice in his life,
He said when he had to have music, he listened to Eye of the Tiger and the Rocky.
My gosh.
Yeah, the guy,
I don't
he's
expect
brilliant.
him to have a deep Rolodex of music to dive into. But by the way, happy birthday, Callie Garner. It's her birthday
today's
today.
Callie's birthday?
It's happy birthday, Callie Garner.
Happy birthday, Callie.
Oh, that's not you. There you are.
Hey guys. But I love the holistic planning cool zone. All right, can we get a message? I know that Ag Engineering
Yes.
12 is still talking about and I'm not saying that in a rude way.
Yeah, no.
But go ahead and you can read it.
Ag Engineer 12 said, I get what you're saying about Vandy getting credit for the dub no matter what, but my point is to be careful about pumping Vandy up and dumping South Carolina because of the result.
But here's where I have a problem with that. It goes back to the conversation I had with, I'm just like a lot of hands movement right now, like a airport person. Thanks for the laugh. My problem is it goes back to what we talked about with Josh Pate. Like, with the information we have so far, it's freaking Vandy. We're not talking about anybody. We're talking about Vanderbilt, the joke of the SEC when it comes to football. So, yeah, just like Texas A&M, I don't want to have to walk with kid gloves, whatever. I don't want to have to walk gingerly, all right, around worried I'm going to walk on a mine. So far, the information I've seen is that Vandy's kicking some butt, better than people expected. South Carolina is playing the defense the way I kind of thought they would. And by the way, Lenore's hasn't been great this year beyond the Vandy game. I know he got hurt. Yes, I know that people love to capture an opinion in a timeline. There's people who have made a whole career out of receipts. Like, oh, you said this, Nuño. I get it. But with the information we have so far, and I hate to bring up the SEC Mike Nuño feud from a few years ago, but that was a wrong take. In a moment by SEC Mike. In a moment, it looked like Sam Pittman's career was going up, so I understood it, and it felt like Jimbo's was going down. But the reality was, Jimbo was phenomenal for his career compared to Sam Pittman. He's a national championship coach. End of story. So I don't think you have to walk gingerly when you have a take based on the information you have so far. Everything is subject to change. Politics, part twos of movies, like, if they ever make a Rocky 29, is it going to destroy everything that's happened before? I don't think so. Creed movies are great, though. When we come back, Jordan Pugh, he's going to join us. He'll have a take or two because you know what? He keeps it real. It's TexAgs Live presented by David Gardner's Jewelers in the Rollo Insurance Studio. All right, we're keeping it real here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's go to the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jordan Pugh joining us here on the program. Jordan, what's up, bud?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm good. So, our typical back and forth during the games. We didn't have as much back and forth because it was a knockout heavyweight fight, man.
Man, it was a hell of a game, man. Instant classic. The biggest thing that I took away from the game, man, is you saw adversity, you saw resilience, and you saw fortitude, right, from the team. This was something that was big, man, because I know we talked about this last week. What does this game mean? And, we knew that it was a big game heading into SEC play, right? You're going to see that style of play, those style of teams, and being able to get that win on the road is big, confidence-wise. But, man, the biggest thing that I saw was the resilience and the fight factor in the team, right? There's between the penalties that we had, between the first series of the game, we get the block punt. You see Bryce Anderson going down. All the adversity that we faced as a team and how we overcame it, especially coming in on that last drive, to be able to overcome everything that we did. That's something that you want to see within the team, right? You can build upon that. That's something that you can carry momentum with. And then especially going into the bye week, getting guys healed up, making sure that we win this week, being able to handle success. Because, contrary to a lot of what people are talking about, man, we've had moments like this before, right? We can go back as early as last year when we're going on that big win streak, beating LSU at home. Now it's handling success. It's the expectation to be here. And, man, just seeing what we did on Saturday, understanding that the impact of the game, everything that comes with the game, I was really proud of the team. There's a lot of things to fix. There's a lot of things that we got to shore up still on defense. But what we saw offensively, the explosive power that we had, everything that we talked about last week, how to impact receivers would open up everything else offensively. You saw Marcel grow up in front of your eyes. I thought it was a real big opportunity for us, and I thought we took advantage of it.
All right, so the fact that they're 3-0 and the Notre Dame game's the one of note, did they win that game in a foreign way? Like, this is not Kevin Sumlin coaching this team where you expect this. Like, it kind of felt like the 2012 days, right? 2013 days. Like, it was an offensive game on both sides. Really, Notre Dame offense came as well.
Well, it was just a classic shootout, right? And one of the things that Elko wanted to address last year was being more explosive offensively, especially at the receiver position, right? We already knew we had the stable of backs, but we needed the home run hitters. And, I mean, we hit in the portal. You talking about Craver with Concepcion and what they're doing, man. Those are game-changing players that allows the offensive coordinator to be able to do what he wants. All right, as far as play calling, as far as manipulating the downs, using the run threat of Marcel to be able to open up the pass and the run. Man, I thought we did a hell of a job offensively. Man, you put up 41 points, you did your thing offensively, right? But, man, just a classic shootout. I just think that we, going down and breaking down the tape, man, over the weekend, I thought we did a real good job of manipulating their safeties. The way that Colin Klein called the game, the way that he used a lot of eye candy. As a defensive player, you always say if there's one in front, there's always one behind. And I thought we manipulated their safeties real well throughout the game, man. And so looking at it overall, offensively, man, we hit what we needed to hit. We were consistent. We made the plays when were necessary, but we made game-changing, game-altering impact plays. And that's something that was missing from last season.
Talking to Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. How about the job that they did on Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love? We knew that Notre Dame was going to try to run the ball more than they did against Miami, and they certainly did. And they had their moments. There's no doubt those guys broke free. But I also think, they were somewhat neutralized. It was a wash with what Le'Veon did and what they did.
Well, that first quarter, it was worrying me. Because, they were heavy with Jeremiah Love. They were getting him out of the backfield. They were hitting the edges on us. I was like, man, please don't start this again. But you saw the adjustments that we made. In the second corner, we shored it up. They still had their big moments. They still had their big runs. But when that second half came, I thought that we shored up the defense tremendously. You saw I thought what they did with Scooby Williams and Torian York, I thought that was a hell of a schematic change that they made at halftime. You saw them spy C.J. Carr a lot, but also they kept them at home where we call it a Reggie, where you had 2-on-1 with the running back. And being able to understand that they were trying to run a lot of inside zone on us, a lot of outside zone, and the cutback lanes. We cut off those cutback lanes with Jeremiah Love in the second half. I thought that was big time on our ends. Guys stayed at home. Guys were responsible. And another thing that I noticed that they did was they left Cassius Howell at home a lot. He didn't get upfield a lot unless it was a third down scenario. Remember, we had to earn the right to rush the passer. So I thought what they did with home, making that adjustment, allowed us to shore up the run. And with those second half adjustment, it kept us in the game, right? It kept us going blow for blow offensively because we kept getting the ball back with possessions. So I thought that was a big schematic change, man. We saw the frustration that Elko had earlier in the game, but I think, man, the adjustments that were made, guys staying at home, shoring that up, that's what you want to see. Those are the fixes that we have to make, especially if we want to make this run.
So, Jordan, a coach friend of mine, and you put your coach's hat on for a second, he said there was too many mental errors versus motion. We look like we can't adjust and communicate the call when they change formations. Did you see that?
On a few plays. Yeah, on a few plays. I think a lot of that just had to do with where we were personnel-wise within the game. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times that Notre Dame sent us within the motions, we were more of our heavy packages, right? So we had a DB off the field. We were mugging the line of scrimmage a lot. So a lot of those things would take us out of the initial call that we wanted, right? So we would have Torian York mugging the line, maybe Scooby Williams mugging the line, showing 8 across or 7 across the line of scrimmage. So that alters what we want to do. Usually when you're doing that, you want to disguise something, disguise a fire zone blitz, something of that nature, disguise man and zone. So I think that's where they caught us a lot. If you notice, as you go later on in the game, we started playing more conventional defense. We started sitting at home. We started just manning our keys. Typical cover 4s, cover 2s, cover 3 type looks, but we did it with a lot more disguise. And so I thought that was a good adjustment as well. At the beginning of the game, the eye candy was evident from Notre Dame with the shifts, the motions, the wham blocks from the tight end. The adjustment level in that second half, that's what we brought Elko in for. And that was a big time adjustment for us, man, moving forward. And I think that altered the game a lot because it altered the plan of what Notre Dame wanted to attack us with. So we capitalized on that, and I think you saw the difference later on in the fourth quarter.
What do you think overall from the safeties? Do you like what you saw?
Let me say it like this. I love the way that the safeties are playing because I think the safeties are saving us at the corner position. I think we're too inconsistent at the corner position. I think Des Ricks has been our best guy, right? Our most consistent guy. I think Will Lee, he's a hit or miss. As of right now, through the first 3 games, he's given up a lot. He's made a lot of plays. You need to have a little bit more consistency because if I'm eyeing us, I'm game planning us, that's who I'm attacking. I'm attacking him. And one of the things I would tell him is, hey, man, play the game with emotion, but don't be emotional. And I think too many times, man, we're getting caught up in the me versus him matchup versus the overall scheme. He has the ability. We know he has the link, everything that you want. But I think our safeties are making up and erasing a lot of the mistakes that we're having at the corner position because we're playing a lot more zone coverages than we did before. When we do play man, we have safety help over the top. I think that with what Ratcliffe is doing, what Brooks is doing, we could throw Anderson in the mix as well. I think that we're mixing those 3 guys well enough within the rotation, but we're having the right coverages behind our corners. I think Chappelle is playing his butt off, man. You don't see a lot of him during the game, but he's taken away a lot of the options, especially if you start watching the All-22. But, man, I think Willie's really got to step his game up. That could be a weak point right now within the secondary just because of the consistency factor. I think there's too many inconsistent plays, and he gets too greedy sometimes. Every once in a while, you want that as a corner, but then every once in a while, hey, man, reel it back in and let's play within the coverage. Other than that, man, I think that our secondaries play well, but I really like what our safety position is doing.
So is something different with Will Lee? Is it he's playing differently? Or
I don't know. It's not playing differently. The one thing about the corner position is this: you're put on an island. And when you get beat, everybody notices when you get beat, right? I mean, it's you versus the receiver. You're out there. You're all alone. The times that he gets beat in man-to-man covers, a lot of times he has eye violations. His eyes are inside. He's jumping too quickly. He may get out-leveraged just based off body position. It's little things that he can fix that you didn't see a lot last year. But when you go back, and when I really noticed it was the Utah State game. I think it was receiver Boyd for Utah State. Man, he had a lot of a lot of separation from Will Lee just based off the position of where he was, how he sat inside, what he was doing when he was playing off man. And I think those are just eye discipline issues that he can fix. Ability-wise, he has all the ability in the world, but he's got to get more consistent if we want this defense to be successful. Des Ricks, on the other hand, I think he's playing aggressive. I think he's playing through the receiver. He's a little bit too aggressive at times, but he's more disciplined with his eyes. And I think those are the two differences that you're seeing in the corner position.
And how good is that for Des, considering the way last season ended, where people were picking on him, and now they're avoiding him?
Well, sometimes, man, it's trial by fire. Sometimes you just got to go through it. Man, I've had those days where you just like, man, I can't cover anything out here on the football field, right? But when you go through it, man, you understand, like, okay, there's certain – when you realize that playing the DB position is a real finite thing, right? It's small little tweaks. If you just make the small tweak, it makes all the difference in the world because it forces a better throw. It forces errant throws just by body position alone. When you understand tendencies of receivers, it changes the way that you play. And I think that's what he is understanding now. You're seeing his game grow, not just from the physical standpoint, but from the mental aspect. Physically, everybody that's on that team can do it physically. But mentally understanding the down and distance, understanding the tendencies of the receiver, that's big. And I think that's where you've seen his game change.
What about the defensive line? I want to talk about the interior. Yeah. DJ Hicks, Albert Regis, how they're playing. They both are playing at a pretty high level. Am I right?
Hicks and Regis had a hell of a game, and they fixed a lot. Well, let's go back to the second half. The second half adjustments. First half, especially first quarter, we were two-gapping a lot with the interior line, the thing that was driving me crazy for the first two games. Second half, it's more upfield, penetrating A-gap, B-gap, and creating chaos. You saw a lot more chaos happen. You saw the pocket break down a lot more. You saw C.J. Carr get a lot more frantic. That's because of the interior push. When we had that interior push, Notre Dame in the run game started doing dual blocks on us, but then they also started doubling us within in the interior, allowing the Cassius Howes of the world to go one-on-one and rush. So when you have those two guys, the type of talent that we have inside, and you allow them just to get upfield and penetrate, you see the difference in the defense. And so, man, what they did from the interior standpoint, especially in that second half, they took that game over from the center and guard positions of Notre Dame, and you saw their presence felt, especially in the second half.
Jordan, let's talk a little bit about this offense from this perspective. Yeah. Now that there's this film that, okay, A&M can beat you vertically, right? Because people wanted to see it against an elite defense, and I still think Notre Dame's got some elite corners, even though they didn't have their best day. But they've seen that. But you also know in the back of your mind, Le'Veon Moss looks like Le'Veon Moss, right? So, what is the best way to cover? What do you think DCs are thinking about how the best way to cover this type of offense?
The best way to defend our offense is to have a dominant defensive line. You have to have a dominant defensive line, meaning you have to be able to keep Marcel corralled. That's the first thing. So if he beats you from the pocket, bravo, y'all deserve to win the game. Secondly, the number two reason why you have to have a dominant defensive line is because you got to be able to keep the running backs in check. Okay? If you can keep them in check, now it forces us to a one-dimensional offense. Now, the caveat to that is this. We got cats on the outside that can win one-on-one, and Marcel's growth against zone defense, staying in the pocket, understanding what he's looking for on his first and second progression has been big. But the number one way that you beat us, the D-line has got to be effective, because when it comes to matchups between our four guys on the outside and your four DBs, we have advantage. There's maybe one team, let's call it LSU right now, as of today, that is playing the best, especially when it comes to the secondary. But as far as matching up man for man, we're going to win that matchup. We have advantage. So your D-line has to take over. But what Klein is doing on the offensive side, I'm loving what he's doing on the offensive side. Man, the way that he is manipulating defenses, the way that he is using motion to violate the eyes of the linebacker, and the way that he is threatening Marcel's legs in the run game without using his legs, I think it's top notch, man. I don't think a lot of people are talking enough about what he's doing, the way he's calling these plays, because he's creating matchups and one-on-one matchups with our top-level guys at the wideout position. I think he's doing a hell of a job. So D-line, man, those are the type teams that we got to be wary of. Those guys who can get pressure, who can collapse pockets, but, man, who can keep Marcel corralled within the pocket. I think those are the type teams we need to be concerned about.
Jordan, so considering all that, and you've mentioned that Marcel's taken steps in the right direction, and he missed some throws. Where has he improved the most?
I think his pocket awareness and presence. There's plenty of times, man, if you go back and you watch the film, that he had wide open rush lanes to take off and run, but he stayed within the pocket. He went through his progressions and he hit his reads. There was a big play. Everybody talks about the touchdown that Craver had along the sideline, which was big. But there was a big, I want to say it was either a second down or a third down conversion that we had. I want to say it was the third quarter, a big over route that Craver ran. There was a big opportunity and a lot of grass in front of Marcel. Okay. They brought a add-on blitz from that linebacker. He stood within the pocket, went through his first read to Concepcion, came back to Craver on the over route and hit him on a big third down conversion. Man, that is the maturation process that you want to see, because you always want to threaten the defense with your legs. But, man, if you can beat them with the pocket, now you're making it 10 times harder for a defensive coordinator to game plan and scheme against you. That's the maturation that I want to see as a passer. We know what he can do with his legs. We saw that on the last drive, how he converted on a long run down towards the goal line on that end. That's big time, man, especially hitting that over route across the middle of the field, but manipulating the defense with your eyes. That's the biggest growth that I've seen in him.
You know, I think it's interesting, too, because we talked about the growth from Des Ricks, and we've talked about the growth from Marcel. But I would say the growth from Colin Klein, right? With, you know, like, because there was criticisms of this offense last year, and he's got the players he needs, and now, like, magically, like, oh, look at the play calling is amazing. Like, but it's all about getting the right groceries, right?
Well, yeah, and then he has the right guy at quarterback, because he has the guy who can use his legs as a threat. Same thing that he did as a player. When you have that guy as a threat, it opens up a lot more, because the defense has to make a choice. Are we adding an extra defender in the pass? Are we adding an extra defender in the run? You got to make a choice now. Then when you have elite players on the outside like we do, especially with our 2 elite wide receivers, we got, man, 3 elite running backs? The weapons are there. So now, as a defensive coordinator, man, who do I need to key? All right, man, is it Craver this week? Well, if I key him, now Concepcion is one-on-one. All right, well, if I take those 2 away, I got 3 horses at the running back position that can hit their head on the goalpost every time. Not only that, they can catch the ball out of the backfield. So when you have that one guy at quarterback that can manipulate the defense with his legs, it opens up everything else within the offense and allows the offensive coordinator to have a little fun. And you're seeing that with Colin Klein, especially in his growth from year 1 to year 2 in SEC play.
Jordan, last thing for you. What does this win do for what this season could look like?
Well, win is just the next step. Okay, that's what we do know. And I think this win gives perspective to the team. What I mean by that is you have a lot of returning players from last year's team. You had a lot of players that experienced success halfway through the season, right? Big wins at home, win streak, and then we saw it all falter down the end. I think it gives us perspective on what we can be, what we can do, especially when the adversity hits, because you were faced with that in this game. But now the question is how do you handle that? Do you have the expectation of being a champion? If you have the expectation of being a champion, you handle business as such. And I think that's where the challenge is. I think the bye week is coming at the right time, where we have time to heal the wounds, do what we have to do. But now we have time to reset, but not reset physically, reset from a mental standpoint of what we're trying to accomplish and how we're trying to climb that mountain and get this championship run. So, I mean, I thought this win was big, but I think it's big from a mental standpoint, knowing that you have the capability to get this done, especially when you defeated a national championship contender last year.
Jordan, great stuff, man. Thanks for your time, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, man. Let's do it.
See you, man. Jordan Pugh here on TexAgs Live. We'll have some Auburn film to break down next week when he comes on the show, because they're taking on Oklahoma right before they take on A&M. And I think that we'll learn a lot about them in that game. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. We'll talk to Coach G, find out what's going on with soccer on the other side. Right now, we're talking about the great inventory and the value that you get at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're on Highway 21 in Caldwell and online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're looking for a selection that won't break the bank, if you're looking for a growing inventory, if you're looking for great vehicles, if you're looking for great customer service, if you're looking for a great trade-in value, you want it all, you go to Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're fantastic when it comes to everything that they do when it comes to your car buying experience. They want to make sure that you get amazing customer service before, during, and after the process. They are locally owned. They've got an Aggie alumni team ready to roll out the red carpet for you with awesome savings and value. And you want to make sure you check out their pre-owned inventory, because it is moving fast, which means you'll get top dollar for your trade-in. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. And then we're back, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Coach G's here to talk a little Aggie soccer as we look back and look ahead here to a very busy week. How are you, sir?
I'm well. It's rolling right along. I mean, I think everyone's walking with a little pep in their step here on campus after Saturday night for Mike and the guys.
So as we start looking at a very busy week for you, got to look back at Friday. Seemed like a very close game. What happened?
Well, basically, it's soccer, and in soccer, sometimes you can play really well and not win. And a lot of it was we talk about having to dominate the end zones or the last 20 yards of the field, and Georgia did what they needed to do, and we didn't. We created more good scoring opportunities, but they scored on theirs. And the first goal they scored was on a corner kick. This is the first time that they scored on a set piece all year. Girl came in, they set a screen, moved two of our players out of the way into the goalkeeper, and then basically had a free header beyond that. Second one was kind of a 50-50 ball just out at the edge of the box. Girl hits it, and it's going to go over the goal, probably over the screen, over the seats. Takes a deflection, and the bottom drops out just underneath the crossbar. So score. And then the third goal they scored was a great goal. Great setup, great build-up, and really precise in the way they finished it. So, I mean, hats off to them on that. And I thought that their defense was really solid too. But at the same time, we put ourselves on the doorstep, but we didn't kind of kick the door in. And that's been a big emphasis of us in training this week is, with a team that has so many new pieces to it, especially in the attacking, the whole team, we can't assume that they know what the next person's going to do. Yeah. So basically, I've gone in and have deconstructed and reconstructed the way that we want to have our game model look a little bit more in the final 25 to 30 yards, just to make those roles a little bit more clear. And the training we've had, since that little adjustment has been really dynamic. So I feel confident. Now, the bad news is we're going to play two more really good teams this week. In that Auburn, who's really playing well right now. They're a very athletic team. It's always a hard place to go. It's the biggest field in the league. And then we come home on Sunday for our big Turnip Gold game, but it's against number 9 Arkansas, who's never an easy game. It's always both these teams are physical. Both these teams are going to test you in a lot of different ways. So we've got to be back to work and back to getting ourselves on the track to be able to compete with the best teams in the country.
So do you come away encouraged because you know it's there, or is it like, gosh, it's there, but we're not finishing?
Well, I think on Friday night we were just disappointed. It was just like, we keep setting these things up and then we keep missing them. But after Sunday night with our first training session of the week, felt really encouraged. And meeting with the players yesterday, and it's been a positive step. But again, now we need the outcome to happen. The process is working fine, but we've got to stick with that process and make it work.
How do you make it work against a team like Auburn?
Well, you've got to be on point. The timing has got to be better. The opportunities that we set up in transition have got to be better. We've got to make a little bit more disciplined decisions in the type of runs that we make off the ball to make it a little bit easier for the player on the ball, and that includes the person who's trying to score.
Yeah, and then no rest because you got Arkansas coming here, Turnip Gold game. Let's talk a little bit about Arkansas first, and then I definitely want to get into Turnip Gold.
Yeah, well, the Turnip Gold game, first off, is we're allowed to have one charity event that we do every year, and that's what we've been doing for, more than 10 years now. It is Childhood Cancer Awareness Month or Pediatric Cancer Awareness Month. The color for that is gold. The Arkansas game is a big game no matter what happens, but this is just a little extra oomph that goes along with what we're trying to do. And what we need to do against Arkansas is, they're a team they've played one of the hardest schedules in the country. They've been able to beat some of those teams on the road. and oftentimes in really dramatic fashion. So they're a team that is, they get fat, they get forward very quickly, they're very direct in the way that they play. But this Arkansas team isn't. I mean, they've been ultra direct over the years, but this team is a little bit more of the type of team that is going to build up a little bit. They're going to try to redirect and misdirect you just a little bit more than the other ones that have just bludgeoned you over the head with their attack. So it'll be a big challenge for our players. For a lot of our players, this is their first year at Texas A&M. Every time the first time you play Arkansas is always like, oh my God, that's not like any team I've ever seen. And we'll have to go through that shock.
Yeah,
that shock early on. We just can't let it be something that's going to affect the game.
And then the particulars for Turn It Gold, because the proceeds, kind of break it all down.
So the way Turn It Gold is, Turn It Gold Foundation started by two Aggie moms, and they're initially started out with Angela Dina and Michelle, who basically started this foundation because of Angela's son Charlie, who had a close affiliation with and friendship with Johnny Manziel when he was playing here. Was going through cancer treatments, has been a survivor, has been great. But as all that was going on, people kept reaching out to Angela and Mike Dina down in Houston about, hey, what can we do to help out? And they've big hearts. They're like, we can do more than just help our kid. We want to do something to end this cancer. And so many kids die. More than 90,000 kids a year die from childhood cancer, which is you could almost fill Kyle Field with those bodies, which is shocking. So we feel the same way. What can we do to help the youth of tomorrow, the youth of today, to become healthy and vibrant? So we've been able to go out and raise money through this game. And what we do is there'll be at the game. You can purchase after the game one of the jerseys worn by Texas A&M players. As a matter of fact, I had a girl come up to me yesterday at the MSC, ask, where can she buy a jersey? I was like, well, funny you say that. You can buy a jersey for this year's team after the match. So you can, if you go to 12thman.com/turnitgold, then you'll see a lot of the things that we're doing in there as far as how you can raise money. But we'll sell scarves, we sell replica shirts at the matches. All the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds from that go to the Turn It Gold Foundation. And the Turn It Gold Foundation is a nonprofit, and 100% of the money raised goes to specific projects in trying to fight childhood cancer. It's not like some giant foundation where 30% goes to payroll and other things. 100% of it goes right into trying to help out kids, especially kids here in Texas. And it's been a great project. We've been able to raise hundreds of thousands of dollars over the years. Baseball started, taken up as their charity 2 years ago, and it's been a great relationship. They also they know that athletes and what athletes do for helping out with great causes is something that really is effective. And our girls have been on board with it. We'll be wearing gold uniforms this week, and again, that's a tribute to all those families and kids who have gone through this. But more than anything, it's to try to raise as much money as we possibly can for an amazingly good foundation and idea.
Coach G, thank you, sir.
Thanks,
Appreciate
brother.
you.
Appreciate it. 7 o'clock on Sunday.
7 o'clock on Sunday. All right, we'll hit a break here. We'll come back. Jamie McCoy going to talk a little bit about Aggie football. That on the other side is TexAgs Live. All right, we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go to the Bumpy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Jamie McCoy joining us. What's up, Jamie?
What's going on, David? Feeling great on this fantastic week after a big W.
All right, so are you feeling great? Well, okay, I know why you're feeling great, but are you feeling a little bit more great because it was the tight end position who delivered the knockout blow with Nate Borkacher?
I mean, who'd have thought it? I guess you could say that's sugar on top.
Well, just take me through that play and what you saw, how it developed, and just you've played the position at the highest level. Just what did you see?
Man, first things first. I think it was bad on them to go ahead and call a timeout and give us time to go set that play up. Granted that Elko said that they kind of got into something similar, but I just thought, if I'm on that defensive side, I'm going to let it play. They got one down. It's like, don't give them more time to set up. But going back, I mean, I had to rewatch that thing probably yesterday. I'd say probably 20 times, just looking at everything happening in that play. And I thought it was good on us for playing into Concepcion. We had Craver coming on the crosser. They had all their attention in the middle. They had probably 5 or 6 guys. They had the guy on the front of the end zone line just waiting to try to read Marcel's eyes. One of the most impressive things I would say, and this goes back to Elko saying, I don't want to hear anything else about is Marcel a passer. If you go back and watch that play, one of the hardest things for a right-handed quarterback to do is roll to your left. Marcel not only was rolling left, but he pump fakes. And if you go back and watch, that pump fake held all those 4 or 5 guys in the middle. It held them there for just half of a second. He pump fakes, and then he immediately delivers it out there. I mean, it's not a back shoulder. I'd say it's a front shoulder throw because the linebacker was actually in great position. It was just a perfect example of a bigger body kind of going into basketball terms and blocking him out. And he went up, made the catch, but there was so much excellence on display right there from Marcel. I mean, like I said, to evade the pocket to the left, pump fake, and throw the pass, the touchdown pass right after that. Kudos to him. Kudos to Colin Klein drawing it up and calling it, and kudos to the Aggies for getting it done. I mean, this doesn't happen for A&M, and the fact that we finally got that off our back. I mean, sky's the limit now.
Yeah, let's talk Marcel just in general. Under 50%, we want to see that higher. But I keep bringing up something that I think it's obvious if you watch him play. He's got a clutch factor, right? Like he seems to be, I don't know, just the decisions he makes down the stretch seem to be superior to others. And what he's done at the end of games, I think, should be noted.
Yes, he's absolutely a cool cucumber. I honestly would like to see him run a little bit more, but I'm absolutely A-okay with where he's at right now. You go back to last year's game, some of those games, how they ended, it didn't end in our favor, but Marcel, like you said, absolutely put us in position to win that game. We just got to have the defense bow up. But yeah, like I said, Marcel is just cool. He and I would say that's that comes off of Elko, I would think, and how he coaches the team. It seemed like we didn't have any panic. Everybody knew that we had everybody just believed. It seemed like everybody on the sideline, it wasn't a hold your head down moment. It was just everybody believing. And Marcel, kudos to him. Like you said, he's just made for that moment. Sometimes a moment can get too big for a kid and there's too much pressure. I mean, you go 90 miles the other way in Austin, it kind of looks like that seems to be the case. But Marcel seems to rise to the occasion. The bigger the circumstance, the even and more cool-minded he is. So to have that guy back there leading our stable, I can't be thankful enough.
When's the last time you remember wide receivers like this? I know we've had them, but it feels like it's been a few years.
Man, we've had them. We just haven't unlocked them or used them. And I don't know if it's the threat of the run and people not wanting us to bruise them and beat them down running. I don't know if they're just leaving us open, if they're not giving as much consideration to our receivers. Whatever the recipe is, man, keep it coming. I just don't see how you're going to be able to stop us. If we figure out our defense, It's almost a battle of pick your poison. Do you want us to make it long and drawn out and 9-minute drives, or do you want us to score in 2 or 3 plays? It seems like we're finally in a place, and I know all Aggies are like, man. I mean, my eyes are just big right now. But it seems that we're finally at a place that it's like, how you want it. Like I said, we can run it. We can put 2 tight ends in. We can go 5 wide. You dictate. Whoever you put on the field on defense, we're going to find a way to manipulate it and get down the field. So hopefully we just keep on building.
Hopefully we do keep on building on it. What about what you're seeing from Le'Veon? The numbers haven't been splashy, but what I feel like we're seeing is kind of like that slow buildup that we saw last year from Le'Veon, where he starts going, especially as games get deeper, he gets better.
Man, Le'Veon right now, he's just on Elko's got him in crockpot mode. Sometimes mom or wife, whatever the case may be, they make that chicken chili, whatever it is, Mississippi crock pot or Mississippi pot roast. You put that thing in. That's what they're doing with Le'Veon right now. It seems like we're just kind of inching him along. What I love that I'm seeing from Le'Veon is he's driving. His legs are driving. It's not, and there's no timidness. When you got an athlete, whether it be receiver, running back, DB, you can kind of feel or you can kind of see it on screen sometimes that they're kind of timid. They're thinking that they don't really trust this thing. But that's not what I'm seeing from Le'Veon at all. He's in there making cuts. He's driving the pile. He's lowering his shoulder. He's getting back to what we know him for. And then when we get down there on the red zone right there 5 yards and in, kind of like similar to the game with Texas last year, we've got to have it. The circumstances call for it, and he got it in 3 times the other night. So Le'Veon looks like he's coming right into form. This bye week, I think, is great for us to kind of get everybody healthy. And then as we go into SEC play, like I said, how you want it, we're going to give it to you.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, I find that, at least from an offensive perspective, the fact that they can get you with the hook, they can get you with the uppercut, they can get you with several jabs, they can move out the way and counter. Like, that, it's been, I want to see some more from the defense, obviously, but from an offensive perspective, they can beat you multiple ways. They beat you using their tight end on the final play of the game that you weren't thinking about. They can beat you with Le'Veon. They can beat you with those wide receivers.
You hit the nail on the head. I mean, that's a perfect analogy. Going back to Canelo and Crawford this weekend, that was a super ultimate fight, and it was a great display of just all the mental psyche that goes on with boxing. But you were perfect in that. We got the hook, we got the cross, we got the step back, we got all of that. Imagine what happens when we implement that Joe Frazier, Floyd Mayweather, Philly shell. And the Philly shell is all about being slick on defense. If we can get these D linemen playing on one accord, getting us some sacks, all I'm looking for now is our DB to get an interception, and I need some linebackers to come through filling gaps and just more tackles for loss. Not that 8 wasn't enough, but when that defense gets rolling and our special teams kind of does what they need to do, which is not that they haven't this year, oh my gosh, I think that's when you start seeing the general public say, okay, Texas A&M is a bona fide playoff team. They beat the who's who. They look good on offense. The defense is coming along from where we saw them at the beginning of the season. I just think once that defense gets there, it's a little pick your poison. And I love your boxing analogy. That's great.
Well, and to think about that they won a game on the road against a top 10 team with an elite defense where they scored 41 points, also had as many penalties as they had, also had a punt block for a score, also had just minor mistakes, mental mistakes early on. They weathered the storm and they found their way. To me, that is like, yeah, they won and they won. It was fun. But the fact that they were able to overcome a lot of that on the road, that doesn't happen often.
Oh, not at all. And I absolutely think that's the biggest hurdle that we got over. I caught myself at the end of that game. I was saying, dang, man, we played a good game. Offense looked good. Defense was good in spurts, but we gave up too many points. I feel like the special teams, I was kind of sitting there thinking, man, you know what? If we lose, it's okay. People can't really talk mess about us, and we did our thing. But for us to get over that hurdle, like I told my wife and kids were in the room at the time, and I just went in there. I'm talking about they know in a win like that, there's nothing can go wrong. Daddy's going to be happy. That night, Sunday, I'm still riding high right now. But I went in there and I told her, I said, Caitlin, this just does not happen for the Aggies. And I know there's so many Aggies out there that have that same sentiment, whether it's the public just doubting us, hating on us, whatever you want to call it. Everybody thought that A&M was going to lose that game. And we absolutely did everything Aggie-like to lose that game with the penalties, the self-inflicted wounds. We did that all to ourselves. But for us to rise above that occasion and do this, there's so much room to grow. Marcel missed probably 2 or 3 shots. Defensively, we kind of had some missed gaps and missed assignments, but the fact that you overcame all that just goes to show what Elko is doing with this program. The fact that we've turned the corner. Oh man, like I said, this bye week is going to be great. I hope that we can just kind of steamroll this thing and kind of get some momentum going into the playoffs at the end of the year.
Are you allowing yourself to believe that everything we've talked about is still? I mean, I know it's still possible, but like you believe it's going to happen? Is that where you are?
I think it's going to happen. I mean, we got all signs that are pointing that direction. So I'm the optimistic ag. And,
that's why I asked. Yeah.
I think people are starting to kind of slide over here to my area. So no, I love it, man. A&M on the map, just a great thing. And real quick caveat. I hate this, and I'm not trying to put any damper on this guy. I just want to make a quick point about this daggum portal. You look over, there was a great game earlier in the day with Georgia and Tennessee, and I'm sitting there looking at Georgia, and I'm like, how in the hell do y'all not have Noah Thomas on this field? You go back and look at the stats. This year, 3 games, Noah Thomas has 3 catches for 24 yards. I found myself at that 4th down thinking, dang, it's 4th and 11. We need one play. Who are we going to? And I'm thinking, Noah, this moment was built for you. 6'6". You need to go up and grab it. And it's just a sentiment to say, man, the grass ain't always greener. Whether guys are doing this portal thing with all this money going around, man, stick where you're wanted at and just put your roots there and just be a ball player and ball out. Don't run for what always looks and seems greener. I hate that that's happening for Noah, but I wish him the best. Hate that he left us, but we're doing our thing with our guys that want to put their hand in the pile, and I'm so proud of the Aggies and what they're putting on tape.
Jamie, thank you, brother. Talk to you next week.
Yes, sir. See you, David.
Jamie McCoy. All right, we got to talk about the Association of Former Students. If you need a job, you might want to check out their website. They have jobs open from time to time. If you want to move back to Aggie land, that's the place to go work. It's right across the street from TexAgs. It's amazing. They're seeking to hire professionals to join their team in several different departments, and they are the nation's premier alumni association and the oldest organization supporting Texas A&M and is part of that Aggie network. They play a part in every Aggie story from howdy to here. Don't miss opportunities to help out with howdy socials, Aggie Green Day, class reunions, and everything in between. Join a team that exemplifies those Aggie core values of excellence, integrity, leadership, loyalty, respect, and selfless service, all in support of that worldwide Aggie network. If you're interested in joining the team or sharing with someone that would be a great fit, please visit tx.ag/association jobs to apply and get more information on each position. It is the Association of Former Students. sad news I'm seeing on Twitter. Robert Redford has passed away. One of the greatest actors of all time. The Natural, several other movies. Sundance Kid, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. I know he was in one of the Marvel movies recently. Hundreds of movies. He's fantastic. So thoughts and prayers to his family. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. And what do we have, McKinley?
Yeah. So although it isn't,
Oh my God!
I need to stop saying that.
Let's do that. Sorry.
Although it is an Aggie football bye week, there are still many other Aggie sports to come out and watch this weekend in Aggie land. So I mentioned volleyball earlier. On Thursday, September 18th, soccer travels to Alabama and takes on Auburn. Friday through Sunday, women's tennis travels to Houston to compete in the Rice Invitational. Friday through Sunday, men's golf travels to Olympia Fields, Illinois to compete in the OFCC Fighting Illini Invitational. Saturday through Sunday, men's and women's tennis take on the ITA All-American Championship. And on Saturday, September 20th, the equestrian team has Maroon and White scrimmage. And Sunday, September 21st, soccer takes on Arkansas with a 7 p.m. start time. Good luck to all the Aggies this week.
Good
and
stuff.
Weekend.
Appreciate you very much. All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Tuesday. Tomorrow on the program, I know Ryan Browninger and PB will be on the show. For the rest, you have to tune in. See you mañana.